Again on our live transmission on the Koikimedia, bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Orúkọ mi ni OLAYOMI KOIKI tí gbogbo yàn mọ̀ sí Koikimedia. Mo kí wa pé a tún kábọ̀ sórí ètò títọ̀sán yìí. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ̀ ń gbọ́ wa àti ẹ̀yin tí ẹ̀ ń fi ọkàn bá lọ nípa ìrìn àjò self-determination. Mo kí olórí wa tí ó ń darí self-determination tí a mọ̀ sí Professor Adebanji Akitoye, the leader of the Yoruba self-determination. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo kí Ọ̀túnba Demola tí mo kí bàbá wa Chief Dr. Sunday ọmọ Adéyẹmọ tí gbogbo wa mọ̀ sí Olóyè Ìgbòho. Mo kí ìyá tó bí mi lọ́mọ, mo kí àwọn mọ̀lẹ́bí mi. Mo wá lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ mo kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá tí ó ń fi ẹ̀mí bá wa lọ nínú ìrìn àjò Yorùbá nation. Mo sọ pé a tún kábọ̀ sí orí ètò náà gẹ́gẹ́ bí a ti ṣe máa ń ṣe ní ibi báyìí. A máa délẹ̀ lérí ẹ jẹ́ kí a gbà pé Ọlọ́run ọba tó gbé gbogbo wa dìde ní wákàtí ó nídìí. Wọ́n ní tí kò bá sì dí ẹ má bínú pé à ń pòwe. Wọ́n ní obìnrin ò ní jẹ́ kúmólú. Nígbà tí ọba Elédùmarè ti sọ pé gbogbo wa máa dìde ní wákàtí láti béèrè fún kankan, a ń ṣe political party, a kì í ṣẹgbẹ́ APC, a kì í ṣẹgbẹ́ PDP, a kì í ṣolóṣèlú, àwa ò ń ṣolóṣèlú, àwa là ń béèrè fún ẹ̀tọ́ gẹ́gẹ́ bí n tí ìjọba àgbáyé sọ pé a lẹ́tọ̀ọ́ láti béèrè pé inú Nàìjíríà tí àwọn òyìnbó create ní 1914 a ní right láti sọ pé àwa àti Nàìjíríà ò fi ṣe mọ́. Ìyẹn ń sọ pé à ń bá ìjọba jà, ìyẹn ń sọ pé àwa àti ìjọba àjọ ń tahùn síra wa. Àwa ń fi ọ̀rọ̀ yí àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ gbéyẹ̀wò gẹ́gẹ́ bí ibi tí a wà tẹ́lẹ̀ àti ibi tá a wà nísìnyí. Gbogbo ìdí tí a ṣe ń ṣètò láti fi ṣíra wa ní iyì, láti fi ní làákàyè níbo ni Nàìjíríà dé àti pé ṣé Nàìjíríà ń tẹ̀síwájú ni. Ìyẹn ni bàbá wa ṣe fìwé kan síta tọ́ní ká máa fi ṣe àlàyé ọ̀rọ̀ níbi tí ìran Yorùbá fẹ́ lọ gẹ́gẹ́ bí tí a lè sọ pé bí manifesto. Òun náà ni a ti ń tẹ̀bọ̀ láti bí ọ̀sẹ̀ kan. Ọ̀sẹ̀ kejì tí a fẹ́ wọnú ọ̀rọ̀ náà, òun náà ni the good news path to prosperity in our orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá. Màá tún sáré ka introduction ẹ̀, àmọ́ àkọlé ti tèmi tí a máa gbé yẹ̀wò títí di àárín ọ̀sẹ̀ délẹ̀ ká tó tún mú topic mi. Òun ni in independent Nigeria we have suffered serious decline and agony. Kí ló ń pè ní decline? In tí kò lọ síwájú, in tí kò lọ sẹ́yìn. Ó dá dúró sójú kan. Òun ni ọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà láti 63 years. Èmi náà ti ń dàgbà díẹ̀, ẹ̀yin náà ti ń dàgbà díẹ̀. Ẹ̀yin tí ẹ jẹ́ ọ̀dọ́ náà bó bá yá ẹ̀yin náà máa dàgbà bí àwọn bàbá Akitoye. Ìyẹn làwọn bàbá yẹn ṣe wá ń tètè wo ibi tá a wà nísìnyí kò yẹ ọmọ Yorùbá dáadáa. Alọ́bẹ̀ àkí gbogbo àwọn ọba ilẹ̀ Yorùbá pátápátá. Mo wá tó wá àdì tọ́pìkì kékeré mọ́ tí mo ní ó ti pé ọdún kan báyìí o. In another 72 hours ó máa pé ọdún kan tí President Bola Ahmed Tinubu tó ti wà lórí oyè. Kí ni àwọn economic indices? Gbogbo eléyìí la fẹ́ gbé yẹ̀wò nígbà tí a bá tẹ̀síwájú. Wákàtí méjìlá bá lè ṣe ni wákàtí kan. Intẹ́yìn lè ṣe ni pé kẹ́ pín ètò, kẹ́ dẹ̀ comment, kẹ́ like. Ṣe rí tá a bá wà live ẹ lè rí nǹkan kan wò. Èyí tá a ti ṣe náà lẹ máa wò àbí ìtẹ́lúkàlùkù bá ti ṣe. Bọ́yìn tó bá mú yín pé o wà lórí ètò tá à ń ṣe live, Instagram ló ti wò ni, copy link yẹn kó lọ jù síbì kan. Orí YouTube ló ti wò ni, copy link yẹn. Orí Facebook kò wá ń ṣe pé kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ jókòó kẹ́ máa ṣe kankan kí ẹ wá máa fi wá ta yín nínú ilé yín. Àwa náà ní iṣẹ́ ta lè ṣe, a ní mọ̀lẹ́bí, a ní family. À ń bọ̀ ní time yìí nítorí pé ìran wa ó ti wà nínú decline àti agony. Gbogbo mílì nìyẹn a máa ṣàpèjúwe nínú ìrìn àjò tèmi. Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí mo kí yín pé ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò. Ẹ jẹ́ ká máa tẹ̀síwájú báyìí láti fi bẹ̀rẹ̀ ètò náà. A bẹ̀rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ọba Elédùmarè ní gbogbo ẹ̀sìn tó olúkálukú bá ń ṣe. Ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀sìn kan mo gbé dání o, èmi ò jàjà ẹ̀sìn. Ọ̀rọ̀ bí ìran mi ṣe máa bọ́, ìran mi ni mò ń jà fún. Èmi ò mọ tí wọ́n bá fẹ́ jà fún. ìran tèmi ni mò ń jà fún, òun ni mo ṣe ń ṣe wàhálà tí mò ń ṣe. Kò sẹ́nì kankan tó rán mi níṣẹ́. Iṣẹ́ kan tí wọ́n rán mi òun náà ni pé kí n deliver message yẹn. Bọ́tá ni mò ń ṣiṣẹ́ fún. À ń ṣiṣẹ́ fún olóyè Dr. Sunday Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho, mò ń ṣiṣẹ́ fún bàbá Akíntóyè, mò ń ṣiṣẹ́ fún YSDM, mo dẹ̀ ń ṣiṣẹ́ fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá. Iṣẹ́ kan tí mo gbà nìyẹn. Mo náà mi ní last man standing. Gbogbo tó ń jẹ́ Nàìjíríà ó máa tú láṣẹ Èdùmàrè lórúkọ Jésù inshallah. Koikimedia, bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Ẹ bá wa pín ètò yẹn kó lè dé gbogbo ibi tó yẹ kó dé. Ẹ comment dáadáa, ẹ love, kẹ share, nítorí pé in tó lè jẹ́ káwọn social media kọ́ lè mọ̀ pé in tá à ń ṣe níbí ó ní mínì, ó dẹ̀ níbi tó yẹ kó dé. Yorùbá máa bọ́ bí wọ́n fẹ́ bọ́kọ̀, a máa kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà pẹ̀lú rọrùn. Tó bá dẹ̀ ní jẹ́ ní rọrùn náà, ibikíbi tó bá máa ya sí ló máa dé. Mo kí gbogbo wa, ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò.
Koikimedia, we're bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
Koikimedia, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Koikimedia, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Àwọn tó lọ́ra àgbà yìí náà, àwa ló máa ṣáàtì èké. Dídéde lárugẹ nílẹ̀ ojú àwọn, àwa gangan ni bàbá. Koikimedia, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep. They never sabi wetin we carry for am, but we dey move closer before dem go sabi. I said they never know wetin we carry for body, but we dey move closer before dem go sabi. Ọ̀gbìn lọ lọ́jà ẹyẹ, ìhun ló ló la ojú. Ẹyẹ tó dùn ní kòtò bí àdó, ọgbẹ́ tó yẹ lórí. Ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ilẹ̀ bàbá wa, ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ìlú bàbá wa. Kájúmọ́ sowọ́pọ̀ ká lè tó dúdú àga. Òdúdú ọkọ̀ máa lè gbé wá. Ọmọ òdúdú á sì kiri. Ẹ̀dìdé fún ẹ̀tọ́ adúláwọ̀. Ká lè jọ jùmọ̀ pé ilẹ̀ ilé rí. Àwa lè gba ògo ilé wa. Ká ṣiṣẹ́ ká lè jọ gbàdé. Ká lè gbàdé adé adúláwọ̀. Àwa ni mọ̀lẹ́ tí yóò tàn káàkiri. Koikimedia, àwa là ń gbé tó lárugẹ. Ẹgbẹ́ kúlú ọjà wà kájé gbogbo ayé jẹ. À ń gbé tó lárugẹ, à ń gbàgbà lárugẹ. News and sports, ẹ máa rí gbọ́. Ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú alárẹ̀ mi ló ní kí n máa ké dandan. Koikimedia, ọ̀rọ̀ lágbájúmọ̀ mi. Máa bá ṣẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ. Ọmọ Yorùbá nìyẹn, ọmọ Yorùbá tata. Àrídájú rẹ̀, ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú alárẹ̀ mi. Sẹ́yìn ló máa fi dìbò ọ̀bẹ mọ́lẹ̀. Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa ń dé máa dé máa dé. Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa wọ̀ máa wọ̀ máa wọ̀ o. Igbó máa wọ̀ gbàjọ́jì ò gbọ́dọ̀ wọ. Àjòjì tó bá wọ̀ bẹ̀ á tẹ̀lé ní ẹ̀bọ̀ra. Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ náwó òyìnbó tó dé. Ìgbà tó yìnbó dé o. Owó náà dẹ́kun pọ̀ sí o. Koikimedia sáwà ní bàbá. Koikimedia, àwọn ni bàbá. Koikimedia, àwọn ni bàbá. Àdáńsọ, àgbọ̀pẹ̀rẹ̀ gidi. Koikimedia, àwọn ni bàbá. Àwa là ń gbé tó lárugẹ jẹ́ ká jọgbọ́n o. Koikimedia, àwọn ni bàbá. Àtúnjà fẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ilẹ̀ wa, fẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Koikimedia, àwọn ni bàbá. Ọmọ Òdùwà ni wá o, lọ́kọ̀ọ̀kọ̀ọ̀kan. Koikimedia, àwọn ni bàbá. Ikú tó ṣe bí lébi òsì, Àdìmú bàbá yọ. We bring you one closer to your doorstep. Àjẹjẹ tó fẹ́ òun ló pẹ̀lú tó lára ni. Àgbèrègbèrè Olódùmarè ló fún wa ṣe. Gbogbo ayé ẹ̀gbọ́n, àwa ní bàbá o. Ẹ máa bọ̀ wá ẹgbẹ́ polówó ọjà ni wá o. Òtútù alágbèdá ní òtítọ́ lágbèdá ní. Àti sọ̀kalẹ̀, àti sọ̀nígbèta. Àgọ́tàn, àkópẹ̀lẹ̀ kété. Koikimedia will bring you one closer to your doorstep. Koikimedia is around to give us latest. Is around to give us latest. Ladies and gentlemen, ẹ mú kalẹ̀ sílẹ̀, ẹ tẹ́tí ẹ gbọ́ ètò tó kojú owó. Ladies and gentlemen, ẹ mú kalẹ̀ sílẹ̀, ẹ tẹ́tí ẹ gbọ́ ètò tó kojú owó. Koikimedia is around to give us latest.
Mo kí gbogbo wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí pé a tún káàbọ̀ sórí ètò náà. Mo kí yín bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe darapọ̀ ní méjì ní mẹ́ta. Mo kí gbogbo wa pé ẹ̀mí náà ni lẹ máa bá, ẹ̀yin náà lèmi náà máa rí ní gbogbo ìgbà. Àní sọnù mọ́ra wa lọ́wọ́. Boko Haram ní jí wa gbé, àmọ́ gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá pátápátá ló máa bọ́ nínú ìdì táwọn British kó sí. Bọ́mí ìgbà ilé mi ń gbé, ẹ̀yin fọkànbalẹ̀, ẹ̀yin ẹ má bẹ̀rù, ẹ jẹ́ kémi àti wọn jọ máa tátán nínú bíbà. Ìdí tí wọ́n ṣe kó wa papọ̀, àá sọ ìdí tó gbọ́dọ̀ tu, àwọn ló kó papọ̀ wọ́n dẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ tu, tó bá ti wá tu a gbọ́dọ̀ tu náà ni. Mo lọ báyìí mo kí Prince Bámigbé Ọláwọlé Ògúnbànjọ, mo kí dádì wa ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò. Mo kí Mr. Adeke Benson, mo kí pé ẹ kásán. Mo kí bàbá mi Fẹ́mi Adéyẹmí, wọ́n ní a ti ń exist kó tó di pé shit o country kí ó tó dé ibi tí ó dé. Mo lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ mo kí Ifá nìmọ́lẹ̀ ayé, mo kí Adélékè Sadiq, mo kí Ifá nìmọ́lẹ̀ ayé lẹ́ǹkan sí. Wọ́n ní Olódùmarè continue to bless you and my family, bẹ́ẹ̀ ló máa bless gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá. Mo kí Prince Adébáyọ̀ Shitu, mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ ti ń wọlé ní méjì ní mẹ́ta. Mo lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ ń bẹ lórí ètò náà. Stone Cold mo kí ẹ, Pastor Rufus Òjó mo kí yín, Ẹniọlá Adéwálé, mo kí brother mi Ẹniọlá Ṣọ̀gá, happy birthday, wá ṣọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọdún. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo kí àkànnà ọmọ Koikimedia team náà, Afọlábí, mo kí ẹ pé wá ṣọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọdún. Mo kí ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Yẹmí Fátókí, Bánkí Ọlá ni mo kí ẹ, Òkìkí Ọlá mo kí yín, mo kí gbogbo àwọn Biafra, mo kí àwọn Peter Ọládélé mo kí yín. Mo lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ mo kí Abíọ́dún Sunday, mo kí ẹ̀yin tẹ́tí darapọ̀ lórí Instagram, Akim 999, Simple Rahim mo kí ẹ̀yin tẹ́tí ń wọlé sórí Mix LR, Ògúnmọ́lá Abíọ́dún mo kí ẹ ní 3 hours to play with. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ sì máa gbọ́ náà. Sàyí Balógun mo kí ẹ já play orin àsíá wa. Mr. Paul Owólabí mo kí yín, Nurudeen Ajani mo kí yín. Mo wá lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ mo kí gbogbo àwọn ìyá alálùbáríkà. Stone Cold ní the last man standing is a phrase used to describe a situation where only one person or one thing remains of survivor. It is often used in sport or competition to refer to the final winner of the last person remaining in the game. It can also be used as a metaphor to describe someone who has outlasted or outperformed others in challenging situations. You are the superhero. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ̀ ń fún aládùúrà. Tony Aegis, mo kí gbogbo yín lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí ẹ farabalẹ̀. A ti wà ní the part 2 of intan babo ní the last week. Wiki la máa tún sọ̀rọ̀ nípa the agony and the serious decline. Ṣé Nàìjíríà ti decline? Àti pé kí ni agony tẹ́yìn feel nínú Nàìjíríà? Gbogbo yín náà mo ṣe máa kí ní méjì mẹ́ta, ẹ jẹ́ ká tẹ̀síwájú nítorí àsìkò àti pé àwọn tó ń gbọ́ wa nílé internet wọn is very very expensive. Mo kí Mr. Diolu Simon, Lateef Ọ̀nàbànjọ, mo kí gbogbo yín silent listeners. Ẹni tó comment àtẹni tó comment mo kí yín, àtẹni tó support Yorùbá nation àtẹni tó ní Nàìjíríà lòun fẹ́. Argument wa ló máa decide whether ìwọ tó náà fẹ́ Nàìjíríà àtẹ̀mí tí mo ní mú fẹ́ Yorùbá nation. kí ni ìdí méjèèjì tèmi náà bá wà Nàìjíríà mo lè jẹ́ àgbèrò mo lè jẹ́ tọ́g mo dẹ̀ lè jẹ́ ọmọlúàbí èmi náà lè ṣe yahoo mo lè ṣe ritual but ìdí pé mò ń gbé nílùú òyìnbó kò make any difference it is not an argument ìyá mi rí future ló ṣe sá kúrò ní Nàìjíríà about 32 years ago I have left Nigeria about 20 years more than 20 years plus ni mo ti ń gbé nílùú òyìnbó so don't look at me as special tí wọn náà bá wà labroad wàá ṣe ju tí mò ń ṣe lọ Nigeria is a failed country Children's Day lẹ́nìí àìmọye ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn children tí wọ́n ń sunkún lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ ẹja àgbọ́lé mò ń bọ̀. The Yoruba Nation movement started on a very fantastic note and it has remained so. Látìgbà tá ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ Yoruba Nation, kò sẹ́ni kankan tó lè ní òun rí àṣírí kan pé wọ́n ní kó lọ pa àwọn olóṣèlú. How are you? You okay? Kò sẹ́ni tó máa ní wọ́n ní kó lọ destroy ilé-iṣẹ́ kan àbí police station. That shows that it's a movement that have gained a very good ground and it remains so. Kínìdí is because we have a leader that knew that the only way is to keep to the neutral pattern of Yoruba Nation. Tí Nàìjíríà bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ń ṣe jàǹbá fún wa as they've done 28,000 Yoruba people ni ó ṣaláìsí nígbà tí Buhari wà lórí oyè. Àìtí lè gauge ọmọ Yorùbá mélòó ló ti kú out of the 7,000 that have died in the last 10 months of President Bola Tinubu in office. Those are from the security side. Àwọn tó ń kú pé hospital, oúnjẹ or other necessity things of life, ìyẹn tí wà in the bracket. But when Nigeria continue to think that it would use all its might and power and force this movement to where it doesn't have to go. And I'm trying as much as possible not to go to that side. I believe that the President Bola Tinubu will respect us and communicate with us. Pé wá bá wa sọ̀rọ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí a country that is not a country, but for the fact that it is not in a military era. Kódà even in a military era, we expect the military to have a conversation with us. So tá bá ń sọ pé a fẹ́ Yoruba Nation, a fẹ́ pull out kúrò nínú Nigeria, àwa náà la ṣì ní ilẹ̀ wa. We own the territory. The territory still belongs to us. We are using a mobile phone for the broadcast, and I've just allowed my machine, the one that destroy a hair, that one is sleeping. So when I use the mobile phone, we cannot show you much from behind, but I try to use a lot of things to gauge as practical. So, níbi báyìí l'Ọlọ́run dá wa sí in Africa. It is not in Europe. Kò kìí ṣe ní Asia. We have about 7 continents, and I hope I'm right with that. You can correct me if I'm not. nínú continent tí Elédùmarè dá, whether Jesus ló dá ní ànábì ló dá ní, but ibì kan wà tí Elédùmarè dá ìran Yorùbá sí tó ti ń bẹ for more than 10,000 13,000 years. But out of àwọn òyìnbó tí wọ́n ń lọ káàkiri tí wọ́n ń pè ní the expedition or exploration, yeah, I think it's exploration. Yeah, 15-ish, 15. I think is the right word is exploration. They were going around exploring. It was exploration. Yeah, I want to get the right word. Number, I want to make sure that that is the right word. They were moving around during the 15th century. The Portuguese, the first wave of Europeans, àwọn òyìnbó tó máa kọ́kọ́ land tó máa kọ́kọ́ dé sí ibi tó ń pè ní continent yìí, it took them a lot of time to get to this place. It took them a lot of time because wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ travel by sea. Wọ́n pàdé oríṣiríṣi ìjàmbá lọ́nà. Àwọn púpọ̀ nínú wọn kú, but they did not give up. So mo ń bẹ̀ ọmọ Yorùbá, ẹ má ẹ̀ka give up lórí ìrìn àjò yìí, ẹ má ẹ̀ka wò pé kò ní bọ́ sí. Because in tó mọ àwọn òyìnbó rí ìrìn àjò láti ẹ mọ̀ pé 3,000 miles ní by flight, but imagine níjọ́ náà long àwọn lọ by sea. Imagine gbogbo exploration, yeah, exploitation, expenditure, intention. Thank you so much, Mr. Waris Jinadu. I have a lot of backup team that can quickly bring those information to my face. Sherry, Nigeria láti wà, ẹ jẹ́ ká manage it. No, òyìnbó gbìyànjú láti wá exploit wa. But they left this continent, this cold continent. Ibi tó tutù là wá wà, sórí gbogbo ara tó ń dán yìí, òtútù tó ń fẹ́, òun ló ń jẹ́ kó máa dán, and some other things tó ń jẹ́ kó wá máa Moki Grammar Comfort Adeleye. But the first wave of Europeans, pé àwọn Europeans tó máa kọ́kọ́ dé gbàrà, nígbà tó máa dé, wọ́n dé for any reasons is because wọ́n fẹ́ wá exploit wa, and they did so. That is where we had the sórí ìwọ táwọn sọ pé Yorùbá nation kò tẹ̀ jẹ́ kí inú máa bí ẹ, because àwọn tó kó wa lẹ́rú tó sọ wá di slaves with the help of some many Africans. For over 500 years, Church of England was involved. Taban pariwo Yorùbá nation. Kò ń ṣẹnu tiẹ̀ ló máa sọ pé ẹ lọ gbẹ́nu dákẹ́ Yorùbá nation wo lẹ ń sọ. Because àwọn tó ṣe jàǹbá fún bàbá ẹ àti àwọn great grandfather òun là ń try láti rectify damage yẹn. It's a big damage. Damage tó lọ for thousands of years òun là ń try láti dá padà. So for the fact that like mi èmi kọ́ ló need láti like ìran ẹ̀ là ń jà fún, ìran tèmi lèmi náà ń jà fún, àjọ ń jà fún ni. Àwọn kan ló ṣe jàǹbá yẹn ta fi wà níbi ta wà lẹ́nìí. Àwọn tó ṣe jàǹbá yẹn inú ibẹ̀ lèmi gbé tèmi gbádùn pẹ̀lú àwọn ọmọ mi. Inú ibẹ̀ lèmi gbé tí wàá máa sọ fún mi pé kí n padà wá sílé náà. Àwọn tí wọ́n ṣe jàǹbá yẹn ibẹ̀ ni ká sọjú wọn ní kò, ká sọ fún wọn pé n tó ṣe yẹn ò dáa, kó rectify ẹ̀. Tó bá dẹ̀ wá náà wọn rectify ẹ̀, then á jẹ́ pé ọ̀nà tá à ń lọ yìí ó lè lọ sí ọ̀nà míì. Ọ̀nà míì yẹn gbogbo wa ló yé, mo ní láti fi gbogbo ẹnu sọ̀rọ̀. But for the fact that we are doing it in a massive peaceful way, nítorí pé a ní bàbá kan tó ń pè ní Professor Adébánjí Akíntóyè, ó mọ̀ pé tá a bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ń dàrú, tá a bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ń jà, ó yá ẹ lọ dàbẹ̀ ẹrú, ó yá ẹ dẹ̀bà ẹrú. Wọ́n máa tètè sọ pé àwọn tí wọ́n fẹ́ jẹ́ ká lọ tẹ́lẹ̀ pé ṣé ẹ̀ ti ríran. Did you not see that this is the reason why we don't want them to go? Because àwọn òyìnbó tẹ́lẹ̀ lọ máa ń fún wa ní impression pé àwọn wà civilized jù wá lọ. Àwa wà civilized jù wọ́n lọ. We have been civilized for thousands of years kó tó dé wá bá wa. And when the Europeans began the exploration, then kí ni meaning tó ń pè ní exploration? It is spelled Echo, X-ray, Papa, Lima, Oscar, Romeo, Alpha, Tango, Indigo, Oscar, November. Kí ni wọ́n ń pè ní exploration? Kí ló dé tó ṣe wá ṣe? The meaning of the word tó bá sọ pé exploration kí ló mean? What is the meaning?
Exploration.
The action of exploring something. What he exploit in Nigeria, what he try, go fail, then let us take it back to where it used to be. Ibi tá ti ní problem nìyẹn. Ibi tí àwa àti àwọn tí wọ́n believe pé àwọn gbọ́dọ̀ decide fún wa, ẹ̀yin kọ́ lè máa decide fún wa mọ́, because a ti rí àṣírí, a ti rí the truth. Wọ́n lè ní tó bá ti rí òtítọ́, ò ní láti ṣe máa sáré padà sẹ́yìn tó tún wá ń kàn mí. So when they came, mo kí doctor wa, and àwọn ló ń kẹ́ mi báyìí, wọ́n ní ọmọlúàbí apparel, òun ni mo wọ̀ lẹ́nìí. O lè lọ sórí website wọn www.omoluabiapparel. Gbogbo nǹkan ló ní. Mo lè má jáde kí n má fi lè kọrùn, màá wá mọ̀mọ́ gbé sọ́wọ́ ẹ̀yìn mi. So gbogbo ẹni tó bá ń wò mí lẹ́yìn wá máa rí Yorùbá á ní mínì sí wọn. And this country and anywhere in the world today, Google ni wá kọ̀ sáré Google ẹ̀. Tó bá Google ẹ̀, àwọn ló ń jà fún yàn, indigenous people, àwọn lè ti pẹ́. Mo kí Ọmọlúàbí apparel. Europeans began exploration. Màá tún spell ẹ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. E for ẹyin egg, X for X-ray, P for Peter, L for London, O for orange, R for rabbit, A for apple, T for table, I for India, O for orange, N for November. It was all about trade. Okòwò ló wá ṣe. Látara pé wọ́n wá ṣe òwò yẹn, àwa welcome wọn gẹ́gẹ́ bí pé àwa rí wọn pé àwa yàtọ̀ sáwọn eléyìí o, àwa welcome wọn, ó wà lára 30 treat àgbọ̀dọ̀ tún padà sẹ́yìn. Ẹ rántí pé bàbá Akíntóyè ní nígbà tó dé àwọn òyìnbó kan sọ pé wọ́n bá wa ní ọmọlúàbí àsí nínú wòwò. We were not naked, we were civilized. So má jẹ́ kó sọ fún ẹ pé àwọn wà civilized, no, àwa la ní civilization. Wọ́n mọ̀ọ́mọ̀ da gbogbo ẹ̀rú ni. Ìta ṣe ń sọ pé ìwọ tó ní eléyìí ò ní kankan ṣe pẹ̀lú APC àti PDP. We are APC ṣèbí wọ́n form ẹ̀ ní APC ṣèbí wọ́n kọ̀ join ní wọ́n merge together lọ fi di APC. À ń sọ̀rọ̀ ìran tó ti ń bẹ, ìyẹn làwọn balẹ̀ Yorùbá la ṣe dúpẹ́ fún wọn pé because wọ́n mọ̀ pé táwọn gbé dání, yes, àti abuse wọn, ara ta wá ni, ara ta wá, inú bí wa ni, but àwọn náà mọ̀ pé ìtagbé dání tá à ń pariwo lé lórí is the right thing, kò ń ṣe crime. Tó bá jẹ́ pé a fẹ́ sọ dìjà ni látọdún mẹ́ta kò ní síbì kankan tó máa ní peace nílẹ̀ Yorùbá, but àwa kọ́ la wá ní kò ní sí peace. Àwọn ẹ̀yà kan wá dé wọn ò jẹ́ ká ní peace. For more than thousands of years nílẹ̀ Yorùbá ti ní peace kó tó di pé hospitality ta gbé dání ta fi ń tọ́jú àwọn èèyàn wọ́n wá àìjákẹ́ mọ́ wa lọ́wọ́. Àwa ń struggle gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìran kan. Àwa dẹni tí tá a bá tí ìfẹ́ sọ pé a fẹ́ lọ abroad á dàbí ìgbà tó jẹ́ pé à ní rí ṣe. It was not like that. It's good to travel. I always say that. My mom has been to more than 23 countries around the world. Kó tó bí mi sáyé ni mọ̀ sí mi ti ń travel. It's the best thing to do. But ìwọlé ní nísìn ó tẹ̀lé rìnrìn àjò láti ilẹ̀ Yorùbá lọ sí Benin Republic kò má encounter problem tó ń encounter yẹn is because what block àárín yẹn ni. Because tó bá travel out of the country officially to lọ different part of the world wàá wá rí pé kí ló wá dé tí àti lọ sí Benin Republic ó wà difficult. It's a deliberate act. Wọ́n mọ̀ ni wọ́n mọ̀ pé kí ìran yìí kó má lè dìde. Because wọ́n mọ̀ pé tí ìran Yorùbá bá dìde a máa compete with the global community. Mo sọ fún yín, mo fún Tinubu náà another 60 years. Òun náà máa kú, gbogbo ala máa kú, but mo add the 60 years more. It's not about Bola Tinubu, it's about the future of the Yoruba people. Òun là ń torí ẹ̀ pariwo, òun là ń torí ẹ̀ kígbe. Kò ń ṣe owó YouTube, kí ló wà lọ́wọ́ YouTube? Èlò ló ń san ní YouTube. Àwọn tó ń paṣu gangan, tó bá lọ sórí YouTube, àrà àwọn tó ń paṣu. Nítorí YouTube lọ gbogbo wọn ṣe ń pariwo Yorùbá nation. Èlò ló ń san lọ́wọ́ YouTube. Èlò ló ń san lọ́wọ́ YouTube. Wọ́n fún wa ní super chat. Mo fẹ́ jẹ́ ká set up kémi náà lè ní owó. Mo fẹ́ ní estate agent nílẹ̀ Yorùbá kémi náà máa lọ ta property fáwọn Russia, kí máa lọ ta property fáwọn America. Ṣé o mọ̀ pé nílùú yìí wọ́n kí ló dé tó ṣe máa wọ flight Dubai Emirates lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ lọ́ti máa ta property fún ẹ. Emirates airline tó bá ti wọnú Emirates lọ́ti máa polongo property fún ẹ pé kó wá ra property níbẹ̀. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ bá ti travel ẹ lè confirm ẹ̀. Tó bá ṣe ń wọ airline Emirates àwọn lọ́ní ló máa sọ fún ẹ pé property wà wọ́n wá mọ̀ pé corruption wà nínú Nàìjíríà wọ́n máa ń fi lọ àwọn Nigerians tó pọ̀ torí pé wọ́n mọ̀ pé ó lè ní Nàìjíríà. Èmi náà fẹ́ lówó. I can set up a lot of things within the country tá à ń pè nílẹ̀ Yorùbá tó máa jẹ́ pé àwa la ní yes ibi tá à ń gbé a ní fọkànbalẹ̀ a ní right bó kò lè dàbí pé kéèyàn wà lórí ilẹ̀ gangan kó wá máa ṣe nǹkan dáadáa níbẹ̀. Europeans began the exploration, trade, and the missionaries endeavours along the west coast of Africa. Níbí báyìí gangan ló ti wá rí pé Ìtẹ́lẹ́dùmarè kọ́ síbí báyìí ó fẹ́ pọ̀ ju ìtàwọn ní lọ ìyẹn ló ṣe fẹ́ takú síbẹ̀ ni wọ́n ṣe fẹ́ lọ. Wọ́n wá exploit wa so much. Àwa agree pé okay àtẹ̀ ní kẹ́ fún wa ní ẹni owó padà. Wọ́n wá lọ ṣe tó ń pè ní amalgamation. Ṣé wọ́n tẹ̀rí yẹn gangan òun ló wá fọ́ gbogbo ẹ̀ lójú. After 30 exploit wa for years and years and years. Ẹ̀ ń kó àwọn èèyàn kúrò lórí ilẹ̀ wọn. Ẹ̀ ń jú wọn lọ sí Caribbean. Ẹ̀ ń kó wọn lọ sí America. Wọ́n ń ṣiṣẹ́ ní plantation. O tí wo Kunta Kinte ní tó bá tí wo lọ́wọ́ fíìmù kan tó ń pè ní Kunta Kinte. Kò rí ìyàtọ̀ fi àwọn ọ̀ràn bàbá wa jẹ. Without paying a dime. Ibi tó máa dèèyàn ní padlock lẹ́nu. Ibi tó dèèyàn lọ́wọ́ tó dé lẹ́sẹ̀ ni àwọn ìyá yẹn nígbà tó ń kó wọn lọ ẹni tó tútù bá mú nítorí pé bọ́dì wọn ò dàbí bọ́dì tí wọ́n kó àwọn èèyàn nínú ibi tí hot weather ẹ jù wọ́n sínú ship ẹ ń rú wọn lọ by sea tó bá sick wọ́n jù wọ́n fún ẹja kó máa jẹ òun á ní àwọn ọ̀ràn yẹn wọn ò ní dìde lásìkò kan ìdìde tá à ń rí lè ní nísìkò ń ṣojú lásán mo ní ìjà tá à ń jà yìí ó ní spiritual realm láàrin méjì ẹ̀ kò ń ṣojú lásán. It is a battle that we will fight to the last man standing. Mo ní kò nígbà níṣẹ́. Gbogbo tó bá máa gbà la máa fún. But kò tí ì dìjà. A ṣì wà lórí peace. But tẹ bá ní kò ní dìjà. Ẹ má dispute ẹ lọ wo Spain, Republic of Ireland àti àwọn Norway. Wọ́n ní lọ́la yìí ní ọ̀la yìí àwọn máa recognize the Palestinian as a country. Wàhálà ń bọ̀ mo sọ fún yín pé wàhálà yẹn kó tó dé àṣìkọ́kọ́ máa fi ọ̀rọ̀ yíra wa dáadáa pé Yorùbá ò ní bọ́ nínú Nàìjíríà yẹn ìrọ̀lẹ́ pa a máa lọ mo sọ fún yín kò ń ṣe mí ni mo ń sọ a máa lọ lágbára Jésù Kristi inshallah lágbára gbogbo ìṣẹ̀dá àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá tí wọ́n pa sínú omi nígbà tó ń ṣe slave trade a máa bọ́ wàláì tàlá ṣe wọn bí láìláì síláhùwà kò sí bá bánlẹ̀ ẹni tó lè sọ ó kù díẹ̀ ni mo ń sọ fún yín but we are still on the peace because peace gangan òun ni ẹ fẹ́ jẹ́ ká dìre o tó di táwọn ọlọ́mọ bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí í jà kẹwàá tag wa pé terrorist ni a máa continue on that peaceful mission but mo sọ fún yín pé mẹ́wàá ń bẹ lẹ́yìn tí ó lè dá wàhálà sílẹ̀ tí kò ní gba gbogbo politician lẹ Yorùbá wọ́n máa sáré ẹlòmíì ò ní mú pátẹ́ kúrò nínú ilé but àìtí ìṣe yẹn nítorí pé à ń wò pé gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọmọlúàbí a máa débẹ̀ ó kù díẹ̀ ni mo kí gbogbo yẹn tẹ̀ ń darapọ̀ mọ́ wa lọ́la yìí Spain, Ireland, Norway will officially recognize Palestinian as a state. Whether the other part of the world likes it or not, one day, láìpẹ́ láì jìnnà, bí ìran Yorùbá náà ṣe máa wà recognize nìyẹn. But àwọn ò ní débi ìjà kẹ́tọ́ recognize wa. Ẹ recognize wa nígbà tá a bá kúrò lórí ibi tá a gbé dání. Torí ibi tá a gbé dání, àwọn ò ní kúrò níbẹ̀. Èmi ò sọ tẹ́lòmíì. I am speaking on behalf of myself. Independent ni mí. Mo ní Ìgbòho ni mò ń ṣiṣẹ́ fún àti bàbá Kítóyè. Àtẹ̀yọmọ Yorùbá, a máa bọ́, a ṣàlàyé, a gbé àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ kalẹ̀, a máa ṣe analysis làwọn ṣe níbí báyìí. Má ever pè mí ní blogger. I am not one of your bloggers. I am a journalist. I take my time to research. Now, a fẹ́ wọnú ètò. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀ tẹ́tí darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. In the independent Nigeria, only number 2, we have suffered serious decline and agony. Ìjà ti suffer. Ìjà ti suffer. Tabawa ti suffer. Kí ló dé tá fẹ́ continue láti máa suffer? Why not stop the suffering? Kí ló dé tá stop suffering yẹn? How we can stop it is self-determination. Forget about all the nonsense election tó ń ṣe election fowó. Election gbẹ̀gìrì àti tó lómi ọbẹ̀. Election olè, election jaguru jẹra ara wọn nìkan lọ́mọ̀ wọ́n ò ní àǹfààní kankan tó fẹ́ ṣe fọ́mọ Yorùbá. So, I'm not going to take you through the introduction àti kàyẹn tẹ́lẹ̀ at the first page. So we go straight into the topic. Number 2, If you need a copy, lọ sórí website mi www.koikimedia and you go there and take a copy. Ẹni tí kò tí rántí oṣù máa parí níjọ́ Jímọ̀ yìí, make sure mo bẹ̀ wá ní sọ pé by force gbogbo bí tọ́mọ Yorùbá bá wà mo bẹ̀ wá ẹ lọ sórí ysdm.org ẹ make donation yín fún Ọ̀rànmíyàn 10 tán ní ká máa dá. Ẹni tó wà Nàìjíríà ó gbọ́dọ̀ dá tiẹ̀ 10 naira, èmi náà mo ti dá tèmi, èmi náà gbọ́dọ̀ dá kí wíìkì tó tán. So let's go further. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin lólùfẹ́ wa tẹ́tí wọlé, àdílé máa dárúkọ torí àsìkò, bọ̀ máa kí yín dáadáa kí ètò tó parí. We are Yoruba. Okay, at Ele need the first one. The number 2 no need. Once again, a very good afternoon. Live Lenwo at 14:34. Same time la wà ti Nigeria. Weather tiwa náà ti wà beautiful. Mo kí gbogbo àwọn ọmọ wa káàkiri gbogbo bí tẹ́ bá wà nílé lóko gbogbo bí tọ́mọ Yorùbá ń bẹ pátápátá. Australia lẹ́wà ní, New Zealand lẹ́wà ní, gbogbo bí tẹ́ bá wà ní Brazil títí délẹ̀ Yorùbá, ọbẹ̀ Elédùmarè àtúwálẹ̀ nínú ìdí tọ́kọ wá sí. We Yoruba have suffered abominable in independent Nigeria, and we have decided to exit Nigeria. Mo really share analysis in the go like this. So the first thing we do the first day, ama kadele, then tabani time as analysis. But wiki yi gbogbo ta ma sọ̀rọ̀ lórí lele ní ọ̀sẹ̀ ma láti èní títí dijọ́ Sunday kọlọ fún gbogbo alemi gun àtàlàfíà in ta ma kalele nìyẹn. En tó bá gbọ́ mi dáadáa, ẹ come out kẹ́ wọlé padà. I can't help you because ẹ̀yin nìkan lẹ sọ pé ẹ gbọ́ mi. As many people can hear what I'm saying. Bí ẹ connect APC kẹ́ yọ dànù kẹ́ máa go direct by the phone. But then, since the time of Nigeria's independence in 1960, our being part of Nigeria has been pulling us down. Nigeria's former colonial overlords, the British, laid for Nigeria the foundation of decline and failure by manipulating everything: the constitution, the population census, the regional boundaries, the pre-independent election, to establish the small Fulani nation in a position of unassailable dominance over Nigeria. The Fulani are non-indigenous to Nigeria, are the least educated people in Nigeria, are the almost a nomadic cattle-herding people living in the wild, unable to understand the nature of a modern country. They embark on making themselves the new colonial overlords of Nigeria, and thereby launch Nigeria into a culture of impunity, process, manipulations, massive public corruption, and the fearsome economic decline. In spite of Nigeria's great wealth of natural and human resources, and though Nigeria became one of the world's largest producer and exporters of petroleum from about the 1970s, Nigeria's economy has declined relentlessly. By 2018, an international agency classified Nigeria as the home of most of the world's extreme poverty. Today, 2024, leading persons in the management of the Nigerian former governors of the Nigerian Central Bank, serving ministers in the Nigeria federal government secretariat, are publicly admitting that Nigeria economy has collapsed. All over the country, the poverty is fearfully visible in this early month of 2024. In the enormous and increasing numbers of beggars in the street, in the large numbers of businesses that have closed down and are closing down, in the length of dilapidated main roads, in the collapse of electricity supply, in the decline of the quality of education, in the massive unemployment, in the total collapse of the Nigerian currency, the naira in the world exchange market, in the persistent 4-digit inflation, in the flight of hundreds of thousands of educated youth to other countries, in the increasing numbers of the youth suicide, in the massive crowds of hungry protesters in all parts of the country, etc. We Yoruba deeply sunk and are sinking deeper into all this poverty. In addition, since 2015, the Fulani, greatly embodied by their success in dominating Nigeria, have embarked on an agenda aimed at conquering and subjugation all the non-Fulani peoples of Nigeria, with the confidently avowed objective of turning all of Nigeria into a Fulani homeland. In the storm of this violence, since 2015, hundreds of thousands of Nigerians have been killed, including as many as estimated 29,000 people. 29,000 of our Yoruba people have been killed. Yoruba farmers have been forced to abandon farming altogether. And the agricultural economy of the Yoruba nation has been almost totally destroyed, thereby fostering terrible food insecurity on the Yoruba people for years and years to come. Since more and more of the Maraduan Fulani are still being brought from all over West Africa, the killings and the destructions of our farms and villages, the kidnappings of thousands of people, the extortion of large amount of money from our people are all continuing. We Yoruba people have been intensively devastated by all this deepening disaster of Nigeria. As Nigeria retrogressed on all fronts, it dragged Yoruba land down with it. Moreover, particularly the policies and the actions aimed against the Yoruba further hurt Yoruba interest. The military dictatorship seized important Yoruba assets that the Yoruba people had created in the western region in the 1950s. Schools, hospitals that had been established by the state government, private agencies, and individual Yoruba persons, and that had enjoyed very competent management by their founders, the Yoruba Cocoa Export Management System, the Yoruba Radio and Television Institution, the proud university that we Yoruba people built in Ile-Ife, even the Yoruba Regional Sports Stadium. Most of these assets were then poorly managed or deliberately neglected and left to decline and perish. Even though our Yoruba region continued to command most of Nigeria's crumbling economy, ever intensifying poverty became the lot of most Yoruba people. The most visible and the most painful part of the poverty was the devastating neglect of the Yoruba youth. Because of the destruction of the economy, countless thousands of Yoruba youths, most of them graduates of universities and college, pile up year after year as unemployed, with the federal government and the federal controlled state government doing nothing to help. Many of the youths managed to flee to other countries. Many tried to reach Europe by crossing the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and some of these perished regularly in the desert and in the sea. Some of the youths were stuck in Nigeria, plunged into crime, criminal court, and drug abuse. The quality of the Yoruba political leadership rapidly crashed too, as many Yoruba leaders were sucked into the intensive and horribly undemocratic governance, election rigging, and the arrogant and all the pervading public corruption that are the character of Nigeria. But the worst finally came under the presidency of a Fulani man, Muhammadu Buhari, president of Nigeria from 2015 until 2023. Under President Muhammadu Buhari, the Fulani agenda over Nigeria matured fearfully. It was advanced with two initiatives and from two directions. The highest objective of the Fulani agenda is that the Fulani must conquer all indigenous peoples of Nigeria, turning the indigenous homeland into the Fulani homeland, enslave all indigenous peoples. The success achieved by the agenda are already staggering. First, the Fulani have succeeded greatly in propagating a doctrine among the masses of uneducated and poor Fulani people of all West Africa. The doctrine that that Allah has given all the land of Nigeria to the Fulani nation that has never had a homeland, and that the Fulani are to possess it by all conquest. Hundreds of thousands of Fulani from most countries of West Africa, influenced by this propaganda, have relocated to Nigeria, partake in the conquest and the violent possession of Nigeria. It is a phenomenon propaganda success that President Muhammadu Buhari aided this success by announcing that people are free to come to Nigeria from any part of Africa without passport or entry visa, a coded message to the masses of illiterate Fulani flocks. The masses Fulani Mujahideen, militarized masses of poor flocks that are being brought to Nigeria, serve as the foot soldiers of the violent conquest initiative, spreading all over Nigeria, killing, maiming, destroying farms and villages, raping women, kidnapping people, and extortion, ransom, forcing countless farmers to abandon farming, seizing and renaming villages all over the Nigerian Middle Belt, establishing hideout in the countless forest locations in the most part of the southern Nigeria, including the Yoruba land, and spreading out violence from there. And then there is the government-based aspect of the Fulani agenda. This is the domain of a Fulani man and women who, from their positions in the President Muhammadu Buhari administration, set themselves the duty of filling almost all the key positions in Nigeria federal establishment and all the key positions in the Nigeria security apparatus, army, air force, navy, police, secret service, immigration services, and the port authority. With the Fulani people, by the end of President Muhammadu Buhari presidential term in May 2023, the Fulani had succeeded greatly in taking over Nigerian federal government and its security forces. And I have a video that I'm going to play just after this conversation, just to buttress this. Altogether, the Fulani had by early 2023 come close to their dream of conquest of Nigeria. In the last month of President Muhammadu Buhari presidency, the simple act of changing the design of Nigerian paper currency note was turned into a massive source of suffering for Nigerians rather. At the instructions of the government, people surrendered their old currency note to the banks. When the people demanded the new note, the banks usually had none to give them. I'm sure you all remember that. Ekowo tinyin lọ fún wọn sí bank in the hope we wọ́n máa kówó tuntun fún yín. You never got one. We saw people crying. Àgbàlagbà ń sunkún. Ẹ máa sunkún ẹ̀yin politician yẹn. Ó kù díẹ̀. Wallahi ta'ala suma billahi lazila huwa. Ẹ máa sunkún. Ẹkún tẹ́ ń fi pa wá àtàwátà wà nílé àtàwátà wà níta. Tẹ́ ẹ bá dá sọ̀rọ̀ tó ń bẹ nílẹ̀ yìí. Ẹ sunkún. Wallahi ta'ala suma billahi lazila huwa. Ẹ máa sunkún kò sọgbọ́n ẹ̀. Kò sí bá báńlá ẹni tó máa ní kẹ́ ẹ̀ ní sunkún nítorí pé ẹ rí ìyà tó ń jẹ wá ẹ dákẹ́ bí ìtí kò kàn yín nílẹ̀ Yorùbá ó kù díẹ̀. Therefore, even the rich people who own large amount of money in the banks had no cash to spend. Commercial life fell into utter chaos. People were desperately rushing to the banks, fighting the bank officials, forcing the bank officials to flee over the walls and fences. In many towns, people destroyed or burnt down bank buildings. Desperate men and women stripped naked in the banking halls. I'm sure most of you remember that. Let me just read, with analysis will come on the next, probably tomorrow, or if we have time today. Because of the angry, in many towns, people destroyed or burnt down the bank building. Desperate men and women stripped naked in the banking halls. Some committed suicide. Across the country, many banks closed down because of the angry crowd in front of the banks. It became a hazard to go to the bank in most part of the country. The Nigerian Supreme Court ruled that the old currency note should return to circulation. But the executive government ignored their ruling. The costs of all this destructiveness is the incompetence of the Nigerian government coupled with the government constant strategy of imposing poverty and want on the people in order to make them more controllable, subdue them. Virtually, all Yoruba people now want their Yoruba nation to quit Nigeria. Nigeria is no longer one country. It is a chaotic stack of insecure, distressed, and mutual hostility nationalities, a failed state in the estimation of the informed world. The two things now keeping the chaotic stack together are first, the common people's fears of more blood. Ìbẹ̀rù pé kí ẹ̀jẹ̀ má ta sílẹ̀, òun ló ń jẹ́ káwọn èèyàn sì máa ṣe bíi ti ìtàgbédání. And the second, the revolve of some of the elite of various peoples of Nigeria to hold onto their shares in the Nigerian culture of the public corruption, and the timidity and the insensitive of most of the rest of the elite to act purposefully and decisively towards the peaceful separations of their various nations from Nigeria. As things are going now, a blood-soaked dissolution is becoming inevitable. I'll just leave it like that. But let me read it one more time. As things are going now, a blood-soaked dissolution is becoming inevitable. On February 24-26, the Fulani, acting through their topmost nationalist organization, the Fulani Nationalist Movement, issued 2 declarations of war against the rest of Nigeria, against the president, the federal government, and the peoples and the state government of all parts of Nigeria. Their statement announced that they did not accept the president of Nigeria as the president, that they will overrun Nigeria, Aso Rock, the seat of the federal government, take Aso Rock and use it as a base for conquering the peoples and the government of Nigeria, and that they will burn down everything in Nigeria. Their declaration then ordered all Fulani to proceed immediately to all parts of Nigeria to fight and bring down the government. Following their declaration, of war, the Fulani immediately commenced war against all sections of Nigeria. In Yoruba land, on January 25th, on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, the busiest highway in Yoruba land and in Nigeria, Fulani militia men burst on the highway from the forest, forced a local chairman of a national political party out of his car, kidnapped him to the bush, and later demanded 200 million naira for his ransom. On January 27th, and I want you to take note of all these atrocities. Get your pen and paper. I'll start again. Following the declaration of the war, the Fulani immediately commenced war against all sections of Nigeria. In Yoruba land, on January 25th, on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, the busiest highway in Yoruba land and in Nigeria, the Fulani militia men burst on the highway from the forest, forced a local chairman of a national political party out of his car, kidnapped, forced him into the forest, and demanded 200 naira for ransom. On the 27th in Kwara State, Fulani kidnapped, adopted a student from the campus of Ilorin University. On the January 27th in Oyo State, Fulani militiamen adopted the chairman of the public corporation and took him away into the forest. On January 29th in Oyo State, a local church pastor was attacked on his farm and killed by Fulani militia. On January 29th in Ekiti State, Fulani terrorists wielding AK-47 rifles attacked the very top of Yoruba society and culture by killing 2 Yoruba Obas on the highway. A 3rd Oba escaped. On January 30, on the road south of Ekiti city of Emure, in the far south of Ekiti State, Fulani kidnapped 14 school children returning from schools in their school buses and later demanded 200 million naira for their ransom. On February 1st, Fulani terrorists forced their way into the palace of a Yoruba Oba in Kwara State, killed the Oba, adopted the wife and the child. On February 7th, the Fulani ambushed an Oba in his farm in Kogi State and killed him. By this crowded series of attacks, the Fulani have served notice to Yoruba people that no Yoruba person of any status should be considered safe in any part of Yoruba homeland, in their homes or place of work or on the open highways. But we Yoruba will be separated from Nigeria before the seas of blood come sweeping over everything in Nigeria. We have lost a lot of Fulani rampages. Famine is dead over most of our farmland. Famine is threatening to engulf homeland, and displaced farmers are increasing unemployment everywhere. And some of them are fleeing to Yoruba kinsmen in Benin and Togo republics. An estimated 29,000 of our people have been killed by the Fulani, and about 1.5 million have been forced to flee into exile in a neighboring Benin and Togo republic. Uneducated, unskilled Fulani youth dumped on our towns and cities by the Fulani leaders to destroy the peace and security, are degrading peace and the security in our homeland. But we shall soon be free in a sovereign country of our own. We have no other option than to pull our nation out of Nigeria now and create a separate country of our own, where we can strongly provide security for our people and develop the prospect as we desire. In summary, our Yoruba nation faces a total destruction in Nigeria. We Yoruba have always proudly taken the lead in the promotion of Nigerian development and progress, but now we have resolved to exit, and that is the part 2 out of the 35 of what we're going to be treating week in, week out on Koikimedia. So what we have read, we Yoruba have suffered abominable in the independent Nigeria, and we have decided to exit. I'm going to play something quickly to buttress this. He's a well-known figure in Nigeria. The video was shared with me by Comrade Shegun Ono just about a few hours ago. We've talked about it. He was a very, very outspoken. I haven't seen him for a very long time, but I had a video of him sent to me, and I'm going to share a little of what he has said. His name is OLAYOMI, a former ex-naval officer. Remember, he was the one that told us that Nigeria has a lot of those that support in the government of Nigeria, and it's good to hear from him after a very long time. I will be doing the analysis of what I've read bit by bit, at least for the next couple of days, so we don't have to rush everything. As of 2021, and I'm just reading from the channel's television, which you can cross-reference yourself. Insecurity. The government knows sponsor of Boko Haram, says the former naval officer, Comrade Kunle OLAYOMI, retired. Hinted that the Nigerian government knows those behind the decade-long Boko Haram insurgency in the country. He made the comment during an interview on the channel's television's Sunrise Daily. The government know, of course. It is in the news, Comrade OLAYOMI said. In April this year, the government said they had arrested 400 Bureau de Change, BDC-related people that were sponsoring Boko Haram. They told us the presidency had earlier said it will punish names of those behind the Boko Haram war, with the development generating heated controversy across the country. But months down the line, the long-awaited list is yet to be made public. Buhari never made that list public. But United Arab Emirates did penalize or jailed about 9 or 6 people that were sending money from abroad to sponsor Boko Haram. Let us just listen to a little bit of this gentleman before we move further.
It is a privilege to have,
and I do not own the copyright to this video,
in the military and academia, who is also a global security specialist, to share his knowledge with us. He graduated from the University of Nigeria and Harvard University. He is an author, security expert, and social crusader. He held a couple of sensitive and strategic positions in the military and served meritoriously until his retirement as a Navy Commodore from the military service. He is currently an associate professor in one of the private universities in Nigeria. His interview revolves around the holistic assessment of democracy within the African continent, where he concludes that a system of government as it is being practiced in the African continent, rather than being an antidote of terrorism, kidnapping, and other social vices that have stagnated development in these parts of the world, is a catalyst. Sit back and enjoy the interview. Commodore Kunle OLAYOMI begins his assessment of democracy by laying a good foundation for us about what the system of government was initially meant to serve, as opposed to the reality that we have in our hands, whereby the system has brought about discontent among the various ethnic groups in Nigeria as a country, and making the country fitting for description as sitting on a keg of gunpowder. In his earnest opinion, it is unlikely that a country as volatile as it is now, and the vehicle that we are all traveling on, will take us to the promised land.
Let me just brief you of what was said there. Nigeria is not going to take you to the promised land. Kò ní gbé yín dé promised land. Tó bá sì jẹ́ pé ìwọ ṣì ń rò lẹ́mìí ẹ pé Nigeria máa gbé dé promised land. It is not taking anybody to the promised land. It is actually taking us backwards. And this is what experts, these are experts. Remember, this man told us that they were part of those that brought Buhari in. So I don't know where you are thinking, oh, is it because the West are telling you that Nigeria has a future? The West care less about who we are. They are more interested in their own security and how they will keep Nigeria as one country for their own selfish interest. So tó bá ń rò lọ́kàn ẹ pé Nigeria ní kankan tó fẹ́ offer, then you are wasting your time. I pray that it will not be too late. Kotoye gbogbo wa. I am OLAYOMI KOIKI, Koikimedia. The topic again that we are looking into this afternoon from the section 2 of this program, which is a week from the one we started. In the independent Nigeria, we have suffered serious decline and agony. Then I'm going to be talking about Tinubu 1-year economic indices, the prices of things, and how have you been coping in the first year of Tinubu's government.
Catalyst for it's a catalyst, especially in Nigeria. You know? Okay. The reason why we're having Niger Delta militants, Boko Haram, I don't want to be misquoted, but democracy has a great role to play in the...
British never gave any democracy. They never wanted democracy in Nigeria. That was why they put people that have no understanding. That was how they rigged the election in 1959. So tó bá ń sọ pé wọ́n rig election lẹ́ni, no, British rigged the first election in 1959. And not just rigged the election, they forced us underneath the Fulanis. Wọ́n gbé wa sábẹ́ Fulani, so Fulani wá jẹ gàba lé wa lórí. Gbogbo ìyà tó ń jẹ lẹ́ni kò ní kankan ṣe on the spiritual side. Oh, ṣòfin pé kò sí spiritual problem nílùú iná. Ó wà, but mo ṣì ń jẹun jẹ mẹ́ta. At least kí spiritual kí ni kó attack mi, màá tẹ̀sí kọ́kọ́ jẹun náà, àwa máa yanjú ìtókù. Bí a pẹ̀lú àdúrà ni, àbí kí ni kí n gbàwẹ̀. I am not saying that they are not those things. But òun feel pé gbogbo tó ń ṣe léni is a spiritual problem. No, kò ń ṣe spiritual problem. It is Nigeria problem. And that problem is not a leadership problem. It is the British that created that entity for their own purpose until taba kúrò nínú ẹ̀ wá rí pé things will become as much as what you want.
Evolution of terrorism in Nigeria. Why do I say so? I know the history of terrorism, how it started. I mean, the Boko Haram, how it started in Borno region. It was just a governor that created people to basically create fear in the opponent.
So it was a governor. Could that be Shetima? Because Shetima was the governor. And we saw Shetima with a Boko Haram leader having food together. Evidence is out there. We're not making it up. So could it be that I want Daruko, Awale Daruko, he's still in Nigeria, so he has to be very careful as well, even though he says, he was asked during the interview on channels, are you scared of your life? He said, well, I'm not scared. So the fact that they are not mentioning the name of the governor, but evidence is pointing that a governor created Boko Haram for fear of their opponent. Wọ́n ṣe wá fi sílẹ̀ sọ́hun yẹn kí ló dé tó wá jẹ́ kó wá sísàlẹ̀ sí ọ̀dọ̀ tiwa. It's because they want to take it. That is what Usman Dan Fodio told them pé ẹ̀yin lẹ́ni Nàìjíríà àwa ni British gbé Nàìjíríà lé lọ́wọ́ àwa dẹ̀ra ní Nàìjíríà even though òun ti kú but àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ ẹ̀ believe pé àwọn làwọn ní Nàìjíríà. So ìwọ tó ń sọ pé ó fẹ́ fix Nàìjíríà ó lè fix Nàìjíríà because ideology àwọn tiwọn ó yàtọ̀ sí tiwa. We are not the same. We are different people.
If you don't do my will, then I'm going to take you out.
Benny, I was very happy when I saw his video. I believe he went quiet when Buhari was there because Buhari was a monster that wanted to eliminate as many people as possible. Ó fẹ́ pa Sowore, ó fẹ́ pa Nnamdi Kanu, ó fẹ́ pa Deji Adeyanju, ó fẹ́ pa as many people including our own hero Professor Banji Akintoye. Buhari fẹ́ pa wọ́n. Ó fẹ́ pa Olóyè Igboho. With some people that we know are from the Yorubas, but Olowo fún wọn ṣe. So I believe that he must have probably gone quiet with intelligence that Buhari will kill him. He's a Yoruba man. We don't have to agree with everybody, but he's saying the fact, and he has been speaking. Tó bá yẹ kí gbogbo wọn ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ nìyẹn ni kákẹ́ bí akọni èèyàn. Buhari will have killed this man. So it's good to see him, and this is a fresh interview. We're not going to play everything, but I just want you to listen. That Boko Haram was created by a governor in Borno State. Could that be Shettima, your president? That is why he said, restructuring my food. Shettima is just waiting for any slight thing. But Tinubu is not going to die. It doesn't matter how much you all pray. We might not agree with him. He will not die. Because if he dies, Shettima becomes your president. So, gbàdúrà ikú fún Tinubu, okay? It doesn't have to give us Yoruba nation. I don't think it's going to give us, but that does not mean that we're not going to do diplomacy and negotiation. But if anybody thinks that Tinubu should die, remember that Shettima that created the Boko Haram will take over. Shettima will be worse than Buhari. Eloma Awoju Shettima, he's never happy, he's never smiling. He's always looking like something that should happen so that he can become the president. Just like Yaradua died and Jonathan became the president. Have you locked the door? Have you brought the vehicle back in? Okay. A lè má nífẹ̀ẹ́ Tinubu, but a gbọ́dọ̀ gbàdúrà ikú fún lójoojúmọ́. Ó gbọ́dọ̀ wà láyé tí Yorùbá máa fi kúrò lára Nàìjíríà. Yes, it will be the last president. We pray so. But if Shettima becomes your president, tí Shettima bá di president yìí, let me not just say what might happen. Is worse than Buhari. I know that Shettima ló create Boko Haram pẹ̀lú El-Rufai, but they are still. What she ma sọ ó kù díẹ̀.
So he became governor and basically abandoned the boys in the bush. And those one have to survive. So what did they do? They start attacking people, attacking banks, kidnapping.
Mo kí gbogbo ilé nǹkan sí, as you are joining the program, it's still an interactive. I'll read your comment out. Please put the comment in. I'll read it out. And I would also say that if you're new to the platform and you don't understand what we're talking about, we are here as a campaigners. One out of many that wants us to leave Nigeria. And like I said, just few hours ago or few more hours, by this time tomorrow, Spain, Ireland, and Norway, 3 countries that are very powerful in the European Union, have now officially recognized Palestinian as a state. Not literally that United Nations have accepted them as a member, because America and the UK continue to block it, and Israel. But officially, they can have their embassy in these 3 countries. I pray that it will not be long before countries will recognize us officially, even before Nigeria breaks. That will be the fantastic part. I'm not going to mention the name of that idiot woman. Shenry, reason why we are saying that intense could make sense, could add up. Could add up because it was recognized. I want Luyon say that because of it was recognized. àbọ̀rọ̀ mọ̀ yẹn nísìn à ń sọ fún yín pé ìlú tó bá support èèyàn bí àwọn Spain àti Ireland àti Norway imagine pé tó bá support wa bó ṣe máa jáde náà ni tó máa ṣe press statement tó máa release statement mo á wonder pa àwọn tó wà labroad làkàyè yìí kúrú gan tẹ́ ń sọ pé ti gba country it makes people like us think that báwo lè ṣe dá àwọn abroad yẹn àtẹ̀gbà pa àwọn tó wà nílé ibi ìyà ló ń jẹ wọ́n báwo lè ṣe dá abroad òun lé mo ti post ẹ wà ẹ bá lọ sórí gbogbo platform wa tẹ bá ń follow mi mo ti ṣe screenshot ẹ nígbà tó ń sọ lórí Al Jazeera and I can find it and play it for you. Spain, Ireland, Norway will officially recognize the Palestinian state. Níbo làwọn tó recognize ẹ̀yin wà kí ló dé tó jáde tó sọ láti gbà tẹ́tí sọ pé ẹ ti gba country ẹ ti ṣe ń tẹ́rì they can waste time ara yín. I pity as many of you. Mo kí ẹ Ṣẹ́gun ọ̀nà. It was the one that sent me this video that we're playing now. Ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ fídíò yẹn díẹ̀ sí.
Because they have to survive this. This person that brought them to do the job has been done. Yes, put them aside. So they got democracy for you. Okay. Nationalism militancy is the same. Aspirants, maybe governorship, senatorial aspirants, presidential aspirants will gather some people and there to intimidate the opponent.
Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń darapọ̀ mọ́ wa ẹ mọ̀ pé I am operating from home. You are all aware of that all the time. So it's a family house and I cannot as much stop them from having their chit chat and the children are on the bank holiday and I'm sure you all love children just like I love children and happy Children's Day to all our children. Let me just appreciate as many of you that have joined the program. Ugoze says, my brother, I am a Biafran. I've been following you for quite some times now. I must say that you are doing a great job. Your eyes opener is top notch. I must commend you for what you are doing for our people. We will never rest until Nigeria is dismantled. And it will dismantle. He say, Biafra will be free. Arewa will be free. Everyone will be free. I will do business with the Arewa people. I will do business with the Biafra. I will do business with the Ijaw. As like the governor of Edo State, Obaseki said, is the first Edo nation before even is Nigeria. Keku say they are sleeping in transit. Mukiyawa Stella Shodainde. I've greeted some of you that have already been in the program for some few hours. Those of you that have joined us along the line, Mukinyi Odus Olawale says, Koiki, I like your courage by now. I expect people to, I don't get that. Probably, I think you're saying that you expect people to come out in masses. The people wants to come out in masses, but they're scared, they're worried, they're concerned. So let us keep the fire burning. Let us continue to educate them. People will come out. They are fighting. I don't know what is the cause of the fight. It has nothing to do with Yoruba Nation. Whatever the cause is the system that they created. Not of them about I will not create a mortar. I don't like the word to be using a mortar. They are people that were giving birth to Soluru Kodada, go to the politician, convert to what they are using them for the purpose. Crime in the UK. If you follow me, you will see that crime is all over the world. So, we will get to where we are going. There's no doubt about it. Inshallah. Thank you so much. And we hope that Nnamdi Kanu will be free very soon. Great Nation, Keke Okus, and as many of you that have joined us, Adiola Simon. Yes, they are fighting for garage. Garage Lonjafun. Serious fight is going on in Yanokwaja, and I believe Sanwo-Olu has reinforced the security to go there.
Democracy, the way we practice here. And it's not that different from what is happening in America. Okay. The only place you see democracy in action for me is in the Nordic region.
So in terms of because the voice might be a little bit too low, but let me, because I've watched it up to, so I've not, it's a 20 minute, I'll share the link, but we're not going to use every 20 minutes because we're going to move swiftly because we've done 1 hour 14 minutes already. OLAKUNLE, good evening. If you comment, it's easier for us to also appreciate you. Mr. Jide Onikwefe Eshegon, if I didn't pronounce the name very well, Pastor Mo, thank you so much. Jacob Gripson, if you're new to the platform, respect this platform. We don't care about whatever your views about Nigeria. And don't ever, I have said it so many times. I speak in Yoruba and I speak in English. I'm communicating to different audience. tí bá fẹ́ sọ Yorùbá lọ gbùrùrù, I can bring it back to you to English as well. It's not that my English is that good, but don't ever tell me, yeah, Yoruba platform. No, Yoruba platform. I am communicating to many people around the world. Sometimes they will get lost along the line. So you are not going to tell me when to speak Yoruba or when to speak English. I want to program pure Yoruba lon so níbẹ̀. Go there, watch them. Moki Baba mi Babawa Sun Odu. Shetima is like from fire to furnace. Pastor Money Koiki Ote Rántí Adogun Atafa. And the bodies have not been returned. Moki brother mi Waris Jinodu. Weaponize Naira scarcity and then monopolize the Naira. That was the most painful part. Wọ́n ní kẹ́ kó Naira wá, wọ́n gba old Naira lọ́wọ́ yín, wọ́n fún yín ní new one. Just leave it like that. Moki Okikiola. Jagaban Olorire Moki. Shako. My name is Shakiru. Alias Shakur. Ó dàbí Tupac Shakur. Oloyade Daniel. Ẹ̀fọ́ kan balẹ̀ ẹ̀ wọ́n lé. Mo mọ̀ kàn dẹ́rù báyìí. Ó kò díẹ̀. Ẹ jẹ́ ká tó bó ṣe ní ká tó. Ẹ má kánjú. Ó wọ̀n mí náà gbogbo tó yẹn rò lọ́kàn yẹn. Ó wọ̀n mí náà gan. Ẹ mọ̀ pé mo dúró pẹ̀lú yín ni. Mo sọ fún yín. Bọ̀yẹ́ ká tẹ̀lé ìlànà tí bàbá Akíntóyè ní ká ṣe máa tò. Ká ṣe máa tò. Ẹ kàn máa wà lọ́kàn ara yín pé bó ṣe ń lọ yẹn kọ́ lọ́n ṣàjẹ́ kọ́ gbọ́. Tòótọ́ bá gbọ́ yẹn òyìn ló máa dùn jù. Ó kù díẹ̀. Mo kí brother mi Mr. Fowl. Nuruddin Akimoyede Olatunji Nuruddin. If I didn't mention your name for whatever reason, kò ń ṣe pé mo fojú pa yín rẹ́. It's probably maybe I can't see you. Ìyá mi Jọkẹ́ Bọ́dúnrin àwọn grandma. Wọ́n ní all the money that the Agbero people collected, what have they used it for? Wọ́n fi ń ṣe fàájì ayé wọn mà ní. And I hope those that are fighting will also remember that the real fight gangan lele ẹ wá darapọ̀ mọ́ Yorùbá nation. Victory is for the Yoruba people, there's no doubt. Capture small say the liberation and independence of the Yoruba land. Wale Salami. So you can talk about DSC. Then I will go straight to Tinubu 1 year in office. Moki brother mi Okpe Oluwa. Gbogbo yín tẹ́ wà nílùú Abẹ́òkúta Moki. I schooled in Abẹ́òkúta Grammar School. I'm an Axoba. The same one. See, let's listen again anyway. We want to die about it. And those of you on the Twitter space, thank you so much for joining us.
Very high level of integrity when it comes to democracy.
So what he's saying is that Taban Wabiti democracy too, you'll be talking about the Normandic, Norway, Iceland, all those areas. Finland. That's why they're finding it very difficult to operate with Simon Ekpa. Of it because Simon Ekpa was in Nigeria. But the Finnish government is looking at it that in Finland went through that same process. I've done the program before. Finland did not to become a country. So thinking that a lady Simon Ekpa it's not going to be possible. The reason why you were able to get hold of an account is because somebody sold him out for peanuts. Because no, I didn't know he was in Kenya. Kenya. But somebody snitched on him. If not on Erigbe, but Buhari is good at kidnapping. He wanted to kidnap Igboho. Only Kibaba, Allah, Fikubaba, Yeye, Koba, Omu Igboho, Monsino Palace. I've told you that. Mokisai Balogun and the rest of you. Triple DRS says, what a shame. 151 people are watching it and we can't have 100 people to thumbs up. I always say it is not fair. You don't give me money. I mean, some of you does. But majority of you are just watching and you are praying for us. You like what we do. But I can understand many thumbs up. You know, you go on the page, you will see it there. You thumbs up. It helps the system to know that what we are doing here is also a good program, and it's a good program. I mean, we're not violent people. If we are violent people, you will know. Yes, my utterances cannot be the same with others. We're all different breeds. But I was born a silver spoon, and I can tell you that continuously. And I can also be like you. To buy me not one ilé we me not let my fire war. But once you da gbogbo ayato. But ó yẹ kí gbogbo ma gbádùn ni at least to a lot of extent. Kò jẹ́ kí ya jẹ wá, kò mí pé kò ní solowo láàrin wa. Bí tálákà bá tẹ̀ máa wà gan ṣe, kò a gbọ́dọ̀ mọ purpose tó ṣe fẹ́ wà. Kò ń ṣe pé kò sí àwọn tó lówó nílùú yìí. Àwọn èèyàn jìyà nílùú yìí náà. but ìyà tá à ń jẹ ní Nàìjíríà lẹ́nìí it's because of a reasons yẹn la ṣe fẹ́ pull out and I hope some of you will understand. Mo kí Àṣàbẹ̀, mo kí gbogbo àwọn bàbá wa àtẹ̀yìn sisters mi, ẹ̀yin fine sisters wa, mo kí gbogbo yín lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí.
Africa is the catalyst for all the problems we have now, and I think we should begin to change the way we govern ourselves. We can't copy what is happening.
Tàbálẹ̀ ní kẹ́ like kò yẹ pé vlog yẹn là ń sọ ẹ máa lọ sí I don't know how to show you bí a ti bá wà lórí software you go there you will click the there's a thumbs up ẹ kọ́ thumbs up so activate me yes program yẹn like it because ó lè máa wọ pé 153 people ló wò that means pé the rest of you don't like it kò dẹ̀ ṣe pé ẹ like it but maybe understanding yẹn pé ẹ mọ bẹ ṣe máa ṣe and I can see that èèyàn kan sá káàkiri mo dẹ̀ ti yọ kúrò because I don't want anybody to distract me mo sì mi lẹ́nu tó bá fi yọ mí lẹ́nu kí n yọ dànù kí ló máa wò mí ní after tí bá ti ṣe tán bí tẹ bá ti lè rí wò ẹ bá wá sórí platform especially if you're new just watch and follow yes if you I'm not here to say we are military on this platform you have the right to criticize me ẹ kúkú ti criticize me you have the right for everything but you must respect this platform tí n bá dẹ̀ ṣe ò bá tẹ̀wọ̀ lọ́rùn ìwọ náà gbé kámẹ́rà tẹ kó tán tiẹ̀ náà kó máa ṣe èmi náà wá wù ẹ̀ but you respect the platform and like I always say there's a lot of things happening around the world oríṣiríṣi ni àwọn tó ń wo porn movies bíi ní sínú ilé wọn lọ́wọ́ nínú Nàìjíríà pẹ̀lú data wọn wọ́n sì tó kàn pẹ̀lú Yorùbá nation àwọn tó ń wo ti Mohbad ń wo lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ olúkálukú ló ní nǹkan tó ń ṣe ìtẹ́wàá gbé dání lédè ẹ máa fi ti ń distract wa so mo rí pé èèyàn kan yọ yín lẹ́nu níbẹ̀ yẹn ti gbé wèrè dànù I haven't got the time because we are so busy láti ká tó lè sọpa fẹ́ jáde ká tó set up gbogbo kinní yẹn náà time ni a tún máa bọ́ níná kò jẹ́ kí n tán náà gan ṣẹ̀bọ̀ mo kàn tán pé kí reflection bí dẹ̀ ṣe jókòó ni because it's like pé bí ṣe jókòó mo ń bá kànnù ni kò yẹ kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀ but it's the way my house is ilẹ̀ lè má ṣàṣọyún nínú ilé mi ilẹ̀ fẹ́ fi inú ilé mi ṣe ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò mo kíyàwó mo káàbọ̀ sórí ètò ó wò pé kí ni mo ní pé ó káàbọ̀ sórí ètò pé kí ló ṣe bàbá yìí kẹ ẹ anáwó kò easy a máa sanwó this that ilẹ̀ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń gbọ́ wa àdé ṣègbéraga ìbá fẹ́ tí ìbá ṣe Yorùbá nation mo mọ tèmi náà máa ṣe èmi náà máa ṣe skit wọ́n máa pawó wọ́n máa dárin pa àwọn èèyàn èmi náà ti wo Sàbínù kọjá lẹ́nìí at the end of the day ilé ìta gbé dání Ọlọ́run ló arrest wa mọ́lẹ̀ fún pé ká máa ṣe ni and we are so happy doing it ara ọ̀dẹ̀ ní mi láti ṣe mo lè ṣe program tán nísìnyí tó jáde ní another 3 hours kò sí tó kàn mí màá ṣíra àwọn tó máa jáde tó máa wò ó mo ní gbogbo time but I also have to give time for the family anyway let's continue a máa end the lay màá lè fún yín ní link ẹ̀kan lọ gbọ́ with most importantly is ó ti fún wa ní ìtafẹ́ gbọ́ nínú ẹ̀ Boko Haram ìtafẹ́ gbọ́ náà ti tó anyway so ká fi sílẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ so ètò important pé ó ti ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà lórí Instagram ẹ ti yé pé 1 hour ni kò ń ṣe mi nìkan mo tẹ̀rẹ̀ pé mi nìkan ni kò mọ́ àrí pé ti máa ń gbọ́ àwọn program àwọn ẹlòmíràn máa ní Instagram ti fẹ́ tán a máa start I am not on TikTok I don't believe in that shit o TikTok because gbogbo tí mo post síbẹ̀ wọ́n take me down but terrorists yìí operate wọ́n like it so let's come back out ká fi ti lap ti ẹ̀gbọ́n wa ẹ bá ń kí mo ní access sí wọn but I've just not make use of it gbogbo access kọ́ la máa ń lò because moment tó mọ̀ wọn tó ti reach out sí mi pé Koiki anytime tó bá fẹ́ bá ẹ̀gbọ́n sọ̀rọ̀ kò jẹ́ kí n mọ̀ bá a ṣáà máa kẹ́ ẹ̀gbọ́n tó important nìyẹn so bí ṣe ń sọ lọ we will now go back now and discuss more other areas a ṣì máa ṣe analysis lórí níta kàn yẹn if I can touch on it before we go hopefully I try to do if I can do 3 hours it's a bank holiday mo mọ̀ gbogbo ẹni tẹ́ wà nílé it's very expensive for you to be online watching us 3 hours but we tend to be doing 3 hours then we can come back out again and sometimes I can do just 20 10 15 minutes but we're always making sure that we come out at least as much as we can. So now we've read that part of we Yoruba have suffered a lot in Nigeria and truly we have suffered. Everybody knows that. Afentoba fe paro ati suffer. I suffer. Ṣé wá mọ̀ kó tó bá tẹ̀ wá jẹ́ pé suffer tí yá pé we are enjoying to some extent we will not even be worried and concerned. Bátẹ̀ ṣe ń ṣe Yorùbá nation àwọn èèyàn máa gbà sí fún wa pé Koiki gbẹgbẹrin jákèjàre ẹ̀yin wo lọ èmi náà ti jẹ yín inú ilé mi but kí ló dé ta wá ṣe ń suffer no ìyẹn kọ́kàn ṣe mo níyàn kì í ṣe yan mo ní kò ṣàjẹ kò ṣoṣo mo ní kò sí nǹkankan but in tó ń ṣe wá gangan Nàìjíríà ni ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ tó ń ṣe gbogbo wa Nàìjíríà ni. The cause of majority of our problems today is Nigeria. I am being honest and everybody knows that. Welcome back those of you on Instagram. The majority part. So let me just use maybe at 125 hours, 1 hour 25 minutes. Let me just read it a little bit again and then Mawabo from where I want to pick my conversation to move into. Look, people will say, Emma blame Tinubu, it's only 1 year. I say no, Tinubu is just the continuity of the Egbekegbe known as the APC. My mom sent me the video of Shokoti and I watched about at least, it was about 58 minutes. Is about 20 minutes. I did watch it. I was on my bed. And yes, you know, everybody has the right to support Tinubu as at the time they were doing the election. And he has come out now to say, look, Baba Tinubu, Tenyon Mejila, Bawa nílùú kan, 12 people. And I hope my Mejila is right. Moki Bobayi, Yalalu Baraka Ten Wale, Moki Mama Tawa Kalitu, Oloruko Momsimi, Mo Bolon Duro Lonjebe, Moki Alaja, Idiot, ní gbogbo ìlú Àjà, Moki Bobayi Tewa, ní gbogbo agbègbè kankan. Mikaela Ahmed 60 Moki Tewa nílẹ̀ Hausa náà títí délẹ̀ Igbo. Sherry, I love the way Shokoti came out and said, look, President Tinubu, ẹ̀yin lẹ sọ pé lè ṣe o. Tó bá tẹ́ bá pẹ́ mọ̀ pé lè ṣe, bá sọ pé fẹ́ ṣe, kẹ́ kúkú jẹ́ kẹ́lòmíì lọ ṣe. So for the fact that you say you want to do it, then you must do it. And we have proved that Tinubu lied with his government that Nigeria is no longer bleeding. Nigeria bleed buruku buruku. Ẹni kan ló mọ̀ ni. Nigeria is bleeding. So kudos to Shokoti for coming out to say, look, yes, òun support Tinubu, but òun ò lè wá dákẹ́ nígbà tí yà ń já àwọn èèyàn. That is what people don't understand. Àwa ní sẹ́ supported. Àwa dúró lórí pé calm lọ ni. If Tinubu have supported the Yoruba Nation movement, it would have been better, but kàkà bẹ́ẹ̀, ó take advantage of the movement. And everybody knows that. Òun gan mọ̀. Ó dẹ̀ sì máa sọ lọ́jọ́ wájú, kọ́lọ̀ fún lẹ́mìí gúngùn. Ó lo platform Yoruba Nation ló fi débi tó dé. But our worry and concern is that ṣé tó bá wá ṣe tán nísìn tí kò ẹni kò restructure Nigeria. That is the argument. Oh, Koiki Tinubu máa restructure Nigeria. Okay, báwo ló ṣe fẹ́ ibo ló ti fẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀? Ṣé pẹ̀lú constitution Nigeria ló máa fi restructure Nigeria? Can you give me water, please, princess? Gbọ́n mi yé. Ṣé is it with the current, fraudulent constitution? Because that constitution is a fraud. That fraud in it is one of the biggest fraud in the mankind. There's nothing he can do. Yes, he's the president. Hey, president, he's currently in Lagos, opening the bridge, opening the coastal road, whatever he's doing. It's like a figurehead. So Tinubu is like the figurehead. So we all same as the president. But behind the scenes, he's not. The power tussle, àwọn tó ní power, wọ́n fún Tinubu lọ́rùn. But definitely, òun náà máa fẹ́ ṣe alágídí lòun náà. And he's been in politics for some time. But the question kan tá a ṣe ń béèrè ni pé, ṣé Tinubu máa dá gbogbo ẹ̀ padà fún wọn pé nígbà tó bá ṣe tiẹ̀ tán because òun ti satisfy tiẹ̀. Kò sẹ́ni tó ní ambition, kò sẹ́ni tó wà self-centered. So now tó bá parí gbogbo tó ń fẹ́ ṣe nísìn ó fẹ́ di president ó fẹ́ di this ó ti di nísìn bóyá máa fẹ́ lọ di United Nations General Secretary. I don't know his next move because after a president you are not going to go back as a senator. Could it make sense now? But do you know that in UK the government here prime minister máa ṣe tán ó máa padà lọ máa jókòó wá tún máa béèrè question lọ́wọ́ the current prime minister. Ṣé mo parọ́ ẹ̀ tẹ́ wà ní UK? Charity Theresa May. Theresa May was a prime minister. She left, she went back to the parliament. Boris Johnson went back to the parliament. Liz Truss, the shortest prime minister, she went back and became an MP. Though we know that is the way their own system is. Shegun also say, Tinubu has no magic wand to fix Nigeria. Yes, we are not saying that the whole problem of Nigeria is Lori Tinubu. It is an accumulated problem. Àwọn kan ní okay, àwọn mọ capacity. He has on play stupidity pẹ̀lú àwọn north ṣẹ́rí gbogbo tá à ń sọ yìí Tinubu mà ti lo 1 year ìyá mi àwọn ní ìsọ̀bẹ́ pé yes ìlú yìí ni prime minister máa ṣe tán ló máa ó tẹ̀ nímọ̀ pé prime minister ni mọ́ sometimes wọ́n máa sọ pé that was the former prime minister but ṣé kí Tinubu bá parí president ẹ̀ ṣó tún máa lọ ṣe senator kò lè ṣe governor ibi the highest position nínú Nigeria ni o I am not saying around the world because there is so much position around the world that they can offer him but within Nigeria the highest position ló wà nísìn mo wá ń bi ẹ̀yin tí ẹ̀ ń jẹ́ supporter APC tẹ́ ẹ̀ ń attack wa pé ká lọ gbẹ́nu dákẹ́ okay a ti agree a ti fún yín ní that space of time Tinubu is there expect wa pé ká jáde ká máa dàlúrú dàlúrú gan nígbà Buhari so don't expect it from us we are ní dàlúrú but a máa ṣe ẹ̀tọ́ gẹ́gẹ́ bí the fraudulent constitution ó ní right pé ká ṣe rally ṣèbẹ́yìn náà protest ìbá ń rí tẹ̀ ń jáde ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ máa sọ fún àwọn náà pé tásìkò bá tó ẹ̀ ní jáde torí Tinubu wà níbẹ̀ a máa jáde but what I am asking many Nigerians is and I'm not talking to those Nigerians that are thinking Peter Obi will never be the president of Nigeria kò ń ṣe pé kóhùn kó lọ sọ́dọ̀ àwọn babaláwo kódà kó fún àwọn ọmọ ìṣẹ́ṣọ́ fún kò ní the president because the north will rather destroy Nigeria I can tell you that kàkà kí Peter Obi àbáwọn Igbo called the president the north will make sure that they create the problem that is not going to happen everybody knows that so gbogbo pé Igbo ma di president nínú Nigeria òfútù fẹ́ tẹ̀ nìyẹn not that I don't want them to be president for things to be normal àwọn gbọ̀ngàn ló yẹ kó jẹ́ president but the marginalization will not allow that yes ẹ lè sọ pé wọ́n ní ambition ṣé Tinubu ní ambition mi ṣé ìgbà tí Buhari débẹ̀ kò ní ambition Buhari kọ́ là ń fèsì lọ́wọ́ yìí nísìn every indigenous ethnic people will have ambition it's a fact ìyẹn la ṣe sọ pé we are not one the ambition of Tinubu has been achieved and he's doing exactly what he wants to do to make sure that ambition yẹn ó máa favour but not all Yoruba people and not all Nigerians. The argument will not be, hey, but Koiki maybe can work towards finding a youth to be the president of Nigeria. Lonobo, which youth? Youth will. I am not even going to use anybody as a IMAC. Níbo ló ti fẹ́ rí yẹn. Sherry, understand the thing your team on it, and wo Nigeria from the point of ìlú. Agreed, we were born there, but we were born in a name that was changed from what it used to be. Orúkọ kan ló ń jẹ́ kó tó change it. If we go back to that name, tó bá jẹ́ pé wọ́n bí wa sí orúkọ tó ń tẹ́lẹ̀, your date of birth will not be Nigeria. Because some of you say, but you were born in Nigeria, so why are you now hating Nigeria? No, the name was changed. Ibi tí problem ti wá nìyẹn. Ibi tá ti kọ́ àwa kọ́ la kàn àgbákò Ọlọ́run ní jẹ́ ká pàn àgbákò. But that is where the problem started from. So let me just take a phrase from this again. Since the time of independence in 1960, our being part of Nigeria, in Nigeria, has been pulling us down. Pulling us down here. Àwọn kan rí, whether from the spiritual side, àwọn kan rí pé how can you do an exam? And everybody knows this. The cutoff mark in the southeast is high. The cutoff mark in the southwest is high. Then the cutoff mark in the north is low. Kí ló dé tí kò ṣe high? One, because their education system is poor. Who caused the reason why their education system is poor? Ṣé àwa ni? When our own leaders were running for the future that our own should be well educated, that now gives us gbogbo kódà tó bá lọ sí school forget about gbogbo òyìnbó tí mò ń sọ forget gbogbo tí wọn bá wà ní London tó bá pẹ́ nílùú yìí àkànṣe gbogbo èèyàn náà ló lè polish o but tó bá pẹ́ tó dẹ̀ ní good background wàá sọ òyìnbó tó ju tèmi lọ àwọn tó travel gan wọ́n sọ bá òyìnbó nílé but ní tí mo fẹ́ fà yọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé the fact that what it deceive wa pé àwa ní west àti ní south east we are going to have much more numbers before we apply to get into university and the north has a lower mark. Tani problem yẹn ṣáwa la ni problem yẹn ni they created that problem not us àwa kọ́ la create the problem yẹn na ṣe àwa la create ni we didn't create that problem they created it. That is part of the fraud that started and even as many Yoruba people gbogbo yín lè mọ̀ náà ó fẹ́ lọ́wọ́ military the northerners are only going with recommendation from their traditional rulers. Gbọ́ mi yé traditional rulers ló kàn sign paper wọn pé o fẹ́ ṣe military ó yá mo lọ sí ọ̀dọ̀ ọ́fíìsì wọn and you become that is why we have their numbers much higher wọ́n tún wá lọ kó àwọn Boko Haram wọn nísìnyí. So Nigeria ti fà wá sẹ́yìn kò ń ṣe pé any other reason is because the British changed the name orúkọ lọ́kọ̀ change àwálá nílẹ̀ ilẹ̀ yẹn náà tí wàá ṣe ní wọ́n ní Tolúwa nílẹ̀ àti kinní kan àwálá nílẹ̀ yẹn all we are asking for we are demanding for now is let us go back to what it used to be ṣebí British ló change orúkọ adẹ̀ náà jẹ́ orúkọ yẹn mọ́ wọ́n múyàn sí yẹn ni why is the government trying to change the national anthem kí ló dé tí wọ́n ṣe stick to the national anthem tó ń lò nísìnyí so àwọn ọmọ kan àwọn lè change the national anthem then why is it difficult for us to pull out of Nigeria ṣẹ̀rẹ́ ẹ̀ tẹ́ ń sọ pé Tinubu Tinubu tẹ̀ ń sọ yẹn he has a Tinubu ò kì í ọba ló ń pẹ́ lórí oyè àfi tó bá bá wàjà ọba ò kì í kú èmi ò pray pé kí Tinubu kú I am being honest and my heart is clean on that in tí mò ń sọ ní bíbá náà ni mò ń sọ níta àwọn ni màá sọ lẹ́yìn nínú kọ̀rọ̀ èmi ò gbàdúrà kí Tinubu kú because tó bá ṣe pẹ́kẹ́ Shettima òfin Nàìjíríà sọ pé the next person become the president that is a dangerous one for us ó bẹ́tà ká ṣe push pẹ̀lú òun but the worry is that tí space of time ta ní nísìn tí Tinubu bá kúrò níbẹ̀ tó lọ hand over power padà fún ẹni tó bá win tí ó dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé not ni because nobody will give the power to the south east ẹ lọ kọ́ sílẹ̀ kò sí kó bá wọn gbogbo ọmọ Igbo kó vote fún one person and that is not going to happen because there's already a division in the southeast as well not everybody wants Biafra I follow them kò ń ṣe gbogbo wọn ló fẹ́ Biafra but the majority tó fẹ́ Biafra ó ti kúrò lọ́wọ́ àwọn tó náà wọ́n fẹ́ Nàìjíríà ẹ ti understand me say so the argument is that níbo ni Igbo ti máa rí numbers tó fẹ́ fi defeat any political party do you think that the north will give the slot kí ló dé tàti kó ṣe step down fún Peter Obi gbogbo ilé ìtàn sọ pé òun máa support Peter Obi irọ́ ni o ẹ jẹ́ kó dìgbà yẹn ẹ rí i pé the same party that is if PDP still existing wọ́n tún máa lọ fa another northern kan wọ́n á ní kí ọmọ Igbo kó wá ṣe vice in tó díjà Peter Obi àtàtìkù lẹ́nìyẹn tẹ́ ẹ bá mọ̀ Àtìkù náà wọ́n step down fún Peter Obi náà wọ́n ní gbà àwọn òyìnbó dẹ̀ lọ pé Peter Obi pé máa bọ̀ ọ̀dẹ̀ nìyẹn òmùgọ̀ nìyẹn ṣùgùrù nìyẹn Biafra ti fẹ́ máa lọ má jẹ́ kó lọ sọ pé o máa ṣe president ni má ṣe pé o fẹ́ ṣe vice president and the idiot Nigerians tani àwọn Peter Obi movement orí yín ti gbálẹ̀ bomb bastard ní ọ̀dẹ̀ tí ní kí n máa bú yín mọ́ orí yín ò pé Igbo ní jẹ́ president nínú Nàìjíríà fact ni gbogbo wa la mọ̀ yẹn the hate is too much I am not here defending them mo ń ṣe spokesman wọn mo dẹ̀ fẹ́ yàwó síbẹ̀ ọmọ Yorùbá níyàwó mi so ká má bàa ní àbí Igbo ló gbé sínú ilé pure ọmọ Yorùbá làwọn tí mo fẹ́ so eléyìí tí gbogbo wa mọ̀ ni bóun ẹ̀kọ́ forí laagi pé àwọn Koiki ẹ̀rọ ṣe wá ń lè pẹ̀lú àwọn ọmọ Igbo no àṣírí ni gbogbo wa la mọ̀ yẹn because one agenda gbogbo wa la lájẹ̀ndà ìwọ lájẹ̀ndà ìwọ náà lájẹ̀ndà gbogbo wa la lájẹ̀ndà so agenda yẹn kúkú jẹ́ káwa jọ lò fúnra ara wa ìyẹn mi pé àní láwọn ẹ̀yà tó máa bá wa gbé ìlú tí mò ń gbé nísìn oríṣiríṣi ẹ̀yà ló ń gbé níbẹ̀ tí bá jáde síta nínú ilé mi nísìn èdè tí máa gbọ́ ìgbà míì gan mò ń gbọ́ ìgbà míì ẹ mọ̀ pé ó depend níbi tó bá ń gbé tó bá wà ní south east nísìn wọ́n lè sọ Yorùbá ju ẹni tó jẹ́ English àwọn English gan ti kúrò níbẹ̀ tán èdè oríṣiríṣi ló máa gbọ́ nílùú ìtawà ní London tó ń pè ní England tó wá ń pè ní United Kingdom èdè oríṣiríṣi ló máa gbọ́ different languages so having a country does not mean that a máa restrict ara wa nílẹ̀ àwọn ìyà tó máa bá wa gbé irú ìlú wo lẹ́fẹ̀ẹ́ yìí what kind of country is that ìwọ nìkan ló fẹ́ máa gbé nínú ìlú yẹn kò pọ̀ náà wọ́n ṣe country mọ́ country kan ni pé àwa la ní ẹ̀yà ká ní nation yẹn then we will have people that wants to go and work with us àwọn tó wá kàwé àwọn tó wá ṣe this àwọn tó wá ṣe that and we will then be building a society gbogbo wọn máa respect ìwọ ọmọ nílùú torí pé òfin tá a bá ṣe àwa ló kọ́kọ́ gbọ́dọ̀ favour kó tó favour aráàta so gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń bínú sọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá nation ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń ṣe bíi pé à ń sọ ẹ sáré wọlé ẹ jáde bọ̀ tó bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ má bínú tó bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ okó àtòbò ẹ jókòó pa síbẹ̀ mo ní tún sọmọ́ mo ti sọ lẹ́ǹkan mo ní tún sọmọ́ tó bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ àlùfàǹṣá ẹ jókòó pa síbẹ̀ inú yẹn á máa dùn in tó bá jẹ́ pé yẹn ló fi ń jẹ́ kẹ́ wà happy that's fine tó bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ Mohbad ẹ jókòó pa síbẹ̀ mo fẹ́ kọ́ rí justice fún Mohbad but lọ́nà òbo ṣé nínú Nàìjíríà burúkú yìí tí Nàìjíríà bá da kí ni ẹ̀ ń gbé kí ni ọmọ ọlọ́mọ tẹ̀sẹ̀ ń gbé lọ sí Amẹ́ríkà tẹ̀bí Nàìjíríà gbọ́dọ̀ ní gbogbo system yẹn wọ́n train àwọn èèyàn àwọn tó lọ gbá náà lọ́hùn yẹn wọ́n train wọn ni wọ́n build the system yẹn ni tẹ̀sẹ̀ ń gbé lọ sí Amẹ́ríkà ṣe rí pé irọ́ là ń pa fúnra wa especially àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá èmi ò ní kólúkàlùkù má ṣe tó fẹ́ ṣe o bọ̀ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ ìran wa a gbọ́dọ̀ mú ní inú ọkàn wa pé a fẹ́ lọ ká lè bá rí ọ̀nà lọ bọ̀ wọ́n sọ pé church ẹni kan máa redeem bá ní kẹ́ pray fún Nàìjíríà irọ́ bá rọ́ ni kò lè work kí KICC kí ìyá àdúrà mú mọ̀ wọ́n dáadáa ìyá dáadáa ni wọ́n philanthropist kó máa gbàdúrà fún Nàìjíríà bá fúùtù fẹ́ tẹ̀lé ní mọ̀ sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ irọ́ lọ́pa kí gbogbo àwọn àfáà sọ pé ká máa gbàdúrà fún Nàìjíríà irọ́ lẹ̀ ń pa kò sí kankan tó ń jẹ́ Nàìjíríà because ẹ wá fún mi ní argument pé nígbà tó ń dá Nàìjíríà sílẹ̀ ṣé wọ́n gbé pásítọ̀ jókòó ṣé wọ́n gbé babaláwo jókòó ṣé wọ́n gbé ìmáàmù jókòó nígbà tí wọ́n ń tẹ̀lé Nàìjíríà kí la wá ń parọ́ fúnra wa fún why are we telling lies irọ́ ti pọ̀ jù nígbà tí wọ́n dá Nàìjíríà sílẹ̀ ṣé wọ́n kó àwọn religion mẹ́tẹ̀ẹ̀ta tá à ń practice nílẹ̀ Yorùbá ṣé wọ́n kó wọn síwájú wọ́n lo àǹjọ̀nú wọ́n lo oríṣiríṣi nǹkan wọ́n fi tẹ̀lé Nàìjíríà ìyẹn la ṣe ní problem lẹ́nìí oríṣiríṣi àǹjọ̀nú tá a mọ̀ òun ló fi tẹ̀lé Nàìjíríà kí la mọ̀ tí lùgádì ṣe ẹ̀rọ fáwọn òyìnbó kì í ṣe fúdù ni kí la mọ̀ tó pò papọ̀ kí la mọ̀ tó sọ ògèdè wo ló pè kalẹ̀ kó tó di pé wọ́n pè ní Nàìjíríà wọ́n máa ṣe constitution wọ́n ṣe láti parliament wọn ní bíbáyìí wọ́n wá ń darí ayé wa láti ìlú òyìnbó after tó kó wa lẹ́rú for so long àwa ní ká padà síbi tí ìran wa wà ìwọ wá ń bínú sí èmi kọ́ náà ń bínú sí inú ilé mo wà nísìn tí bá fẹ́ jẹun nísìn màá ní kọ́ bá mi sáré wá nǹkan kan tí máa jẹ kò yẹ nísìn òun ni bottle water ni mo ṣe máa ṣe òun ni sórí volvic ni ó wọ́n lóòótọ́ but omi tá à ń mu nìyẹn ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ ni wọ́n náà ṣe ń mú tó bá ti ń gbádùn ní gbogbo náà ká wá lọ sọ́dọ̀ Tinubu náà ti wà lórí oyè látọdún kan ó ní ọdún kan lòun ti wà lórí oyè ó ní Nàìjíríà ò bleed mọ́ tested and trusted volvic now ẹ jẹ́ ká wá sí bíbá in the last 1 year èèyàn kan sẹ́ni kankan sí mi and I want to make use of it on this broadcast a ti wà ní 1 hour 42 minutes live lẹ́ ń wò lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí mo sọ fún yín pé Palestinian látọ̀la lọ ìlú mẹ́ta ti recognize wọn as a state gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìlú bó bá wọn àgbáyé tó kù kọ́ máa recognize wọn Spain Ireland àti Norway wọ́n ní àwọn ti gbà pé Palestinian ìlú ni wọ́n ní right láti wá set up embassy I pray pé káwa náà dérú stage yẹn láìpẹ́ láì jìnnà I pray it will be very fantastic imagine kọ́ ẹ pa ní Yorùbá embassy ní Spain Yorùbá embassy ní Ireland àwọn Nigerians kún ní Ireland pa káwa ní Yorùbá embassy níbẹ̀ wá ìta sì fẹ́ sọ́pà fẹ́ lọ ẹ lè wo feelings yẹn bó ṣe máa rí mo kí ẹ easy tèmi gangan mo kí Mr. Mitchell káàbọ̀ sórí ètò Azeez gbadé ṣeré bàbá mi ẹ̀gbọ́n mi dáadáa ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú alárẹ̀ mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń gbọ́ wa lọ́tún lọ́sẹ̀ Ugoze sọ pé Peter Obi is a distraction to my quest for Biafra but nothing will stop Biafra. Peter Obi was an agenda ni gbogbo àwọn tó ń pariwo bẹ́ẹ̀ irọ́ ni agenda ni Peter Obi àmọ́ ibo mọ̀ láàrin jìnnàdì mo kí ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò ẹ bá mi kí gbogbo àwọn tí wọ́n wà lórí ètò bàbá mi John Ogundele mo kí Yorùbá must go out of Nigeria by God's grace mo kí bàbá wa Ọpẹ́ Olúwa Bọ́lá mo kí ẹ̀ tẹ́ wọ́n mi lọ́dọ̀ péjì àlùkà àti ìmọ́lẹ̀ Yorùbá àwọn brọ́dà mi méjèèjì tó fún mi ní access page wọn pé Mr. Koiki gbogbo àtẹ́bá ti ń stream ẹ máa bá a stream lọ sínú àwọn platforms yẹn and I know you are all watching me and I say thank you so much mo mọ̀ pé àwọn kan comment níbẹ̀ but mo mọ̀ pé ẹ̀ ń gbọ́ mi láti ibẹ̀ lẹ́ǹkankan so let's move swiftly talk best wọ́n ní I am from Ajah bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo kí wọ́n tẹ́ wà lájà gbogbo ẹ̀yin mechanic ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń ṣe mọ́tò trader àti ra mọ́tò gan máa difficult nísìn gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń ṣe business tó dáa láti America dollar wọ́n ti bà gbogbo ẹ̀ jẹ́ ara ń ta fi sọ nísìn nìyẹn mo kí Mr. Moses Olaniran well spoken Olayomi Koiki wow this is the real good talk show my God will keep you and your family We're fed up. That scammers country called Nigeria. Too cool. One in Biafra and Yoruba nation not going back. Only 60-inch criminal to marry gbogbo in comment and man pro dada níbẹ̀ yẹn. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni mo kí gbogbo. Now ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ wo ọ̀rọ̀ Tinubu yìí látọdún kan tó ti wà níbẹ̀. Máa ka àwọn kíní ẹ̀ síta fún yín. Tinubu 1 year, and I think Emiko Moko, the cable, Buwalamo, the cable is one of the most powerful, or probably one of the print media in Nigeria. And this is what they've put it together, you know, what I can do, Lori software, Lori laptop, and I normally download my video back so Eshima tún obey yẹn so picture tí mo lò bàbá Tinubu tó ń sùn ni àwọn kan náà mú àkẹ́ Koiki nínú gbogbo picture Tinubu ṣe wá jẹ́ lè lò èyí tó bá wù mí mo lè lò journalist lèmi èmi ṣe blogger picture tó bá wù mí pẹ̀lú Tinubu ni mo lè lò I can use any picture, you know, president ni now Tinubu dẹ̀ tí no one like his social media wọn náà máa ń sá fún social media ni. Now ẹ jẹ́ ká jọ wo kíní together ní ìgbà tí Tinubu ti déjọba petrol price wọ́n ní nígbà tó jẹ́ kó tó di pé Tinubu dé it was 238 naira.11 per litre. Nísìn lẹ́ni, and if I'm lying or you are in Nigeria, just help us to put it in the comment section. Ẹ ń tẹ̀sẹ̀ rẹ̀ pọ̀ láìpẹ́. Mr. Victor Adebayo ní Nigeria is gone. Ṣeun Lawal Moke Abiba Adewale wọ́n ní from Iraq lẹ́tí ń gbọ́ mi. One sisters may come on the Baghdad. Call them about for showing. My name is Ayola. Nigeria is already there. Thank you so much, Talks Best Auto. Moki on Ayola and Orukon Ladla and Orukoto da. Now, petrol is 701 naira.24. That means it's gone up by 194.5% increase within 1 year. Food inflation rate. Then it was 28.82%. As of today, food inflation is 40.54%. You wonder why we should have food inflation in a country that have the abundance of land. Iletani, Bolivia oni. If you go to Benue, that you know we normally hear that word. Benue, the food basket of Nigeria. Jos, oh my God. Even the north, even in the southeast, you know the southeast, they have problem with erosion and all that. But that is not an issue. They still have land that they can use for farming. But nígbàtí àwọn Fulani ò bá jẹ́ kó ṣoko dáadáa, and the governors are not supporting. The governors that are meant to prevent it, they're looking away because they are trying to serve their own masters. So food inflation one more time. From then, before Tinubu came to power, it was 24.82%. As of today, it is 40.54%. And I said I was listening to Shokoti. I might not agree with him, especially, you know, we are not all the same. Nobody will agree with me as well. Not everybody I expect to agree with me. But for the fact that it came out, wọ́n jáde padà pé no Tinubu eléyìí ò dá. Èèyàn méjìlá wà nínú ìlú kan. Èèyàn mẹ́wàá sọ pé ebi ń pa òun, ìwọ méjì wá sọ pé ebi ò pa ẹ́, tó bá yá sórí ìwọ méjì yẹn wọ́n ń bọ̀ wá jẹ. The food prices have gone up in UK and in Europe, but it is still at least affordable for us to buy. Why are we suffering, especially when it comes to food? It's because they want us to continue. Not me, because do you know that some people are making so much money from the importation of food into Nigeria? Whether from the borders, border, but there are some that are bringing them through the port. Then they say Tinubu and Dangote are 5 and 6. They have orchestrated how to loot the remaining oil. We can never get respite with the fuel prices. Emmanuel Adeniyi says, from Dubai, Nigeria is finished. She what in renew way in Dubai, Mr. Emmanuel Adeniyi. I know some of you are lucky, you have probably a good job and those companies have actually done it for you. But majority of Nigerians that are living in Dubai, they're struggling, or United Arab Emirates. Mr. Ibrahim, is your Yoruba Nation movement including the Togo and Benin? For now, no, because it is not part of the United Nations that Yoruba is Togo and Benin. Yoruba is classified as Lagos, Ogun State, Oyo, Ekiti, Osun, Ondo, Kwara, Kogi. In the future, there can always be what they call, people from Togo and Benin requesting to be part of Yoruba Nation or Yoruba Oduduwa Kingdom or Republic. And I hope that answered your question, Mr. Ibrahim. Yes, Yoruba ni àwọn tó wà ní Benin and Togo. But lè máa sọ pé ẹ fẹ́ gbó wọn wọlé nísìn. Shari, the way the world is orchestrated or the way they've structured it is a crime. You see, this is where all the problem is. Shari, gbogbo interconvention yẹn nísìn, ẹ má bínú pé I put a stop on this because questions also need answer, especially if I have a background of it. 1884 was when the Europeans created their own boundaries. Oh, some of us want Togo. Oh yeah, who want Togo? Give them. Oh, Britain want Nigeria. Oh yeah, give them. So all this happened in 1884, wanting no renewal of visa for Nigerians in United Arab Emirates. But Tinubu lied. Again, Nigeria is still bleeding. Or Nigerians are bleeding in United Arab Emirates because Tinubu told us on his way back from India, he stopped in Dubai and came back home and said that they've resolved all the problems. Nigerians will be given visa. It shouldn't be like that. But it's just a government of lies and deceit. Tinubu is a weak element. So in 1884, they created the boundaries and France only took Benin Republic. And so if you are saying that, Koiki, are you taking Togo and Benin? That is not going to happen based on the way it is structured. We are going with what United Nations knows in terms of Nigeria and the Yorubas inside. But definitely, those are Yoruba people. So let's move further. We've talked about the food inflation. All shares indices. Then it was 58,738.35 points. As of today, Emira shares, so I don't know this one. Yeah, Berlin Conference. Yes, you're right. Mr. Keke Okos. And Tobamo, it is called the 1884, or you can call it the Berlin Conference. Àwọn bàbá òṣì, àwọn bàbá olórí burúkú, àwọn bàbá tó yẹ pé irùngbọ̀n wọn máa ń lọ báyìí. Tó mu cigar, tó mu wine, cognac, táwọn obìnrin wa ẹ má bínú ìyá wa. I don't like to use that phrase. Àwọn ni wọ́n decide pé we will split Africa for their own purpose. Olórí burúkú ni àtúkútú wọn lọ́rùn. They created all this problem. Boundaries, gbogbo boundaries tán kò jẹ́ kí boundary wà láàrin Yorùbá àti Benin. Ó jẹ́ kókò jẹ́ part of us ni. But wọ́n ti create a boundary. So kò lè wá sọ pé torí à ń ṣe Yorùbá nation a máa gbé Benin wá síbẹ̀. No. It doesn't work like that. It's not going to work like that. Then they say they shared us at the Berlin Conference of 1884 like commodities. I don't know why you're not upset. You should be more upset than me outside. Not that I am, as long as I've cut my coat, I have been driven in this car in this country for 3 years now, of going to 4 years. Not that I can't afford a car, but the insurance is too much and I must have enough income to cover the cost of running the maintenance of the vehicle. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So I am okay to at least to the little extent, as long as I'm not going to take drugs and carry cocaine because I want to make you look cool so that you can be seeing me like Hush Puppy, because majority of Yoruba people saw Hush Puppy as a good guy, but he was a criminal. Ole ló lè ń jẹ́. Ó dẹ̀ ti wà lẹ́wọ̀n nísìn. And in America, ó máa lo full tenure ni. Kò sí pé halfway. UK ló ṣe nonsense yẹn. They sentence you to 12, after 6 you come out. And then they come and kill more people. Simple rhyme say, that alone is the very reason to be angry. Tokyo 778, thank you so much, last man standing. Yoruba nation will definitely come. Because my brother said it there. They shared us like commodity. Emmanuel Adeni said, no, Mr. Koiki, there is no visa for Nigerians and we have company renewal. That is why company use Nigeria anyhow. Because we cannot go to another company. So what he's saying there is another slave happening in Dubai or United Arab Emirates with many Nigerians. They are taking advantage that, go, maybe another company will give you a renewal. Normally, you should be able to renew in any country that you have. I have a country that you can go there for holiday and you can become not a citizen. You can just say that you want to stay another 6 months. You can renew and renew and renew. You want me to tell you the country? I'll leave it for now. There are many countries around the world. because immigration mo fẹ́ máa sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀ the moment you start talking about immigration Nigerians are always so I tend not to go with immigration. I am not an immigration expert. Triple DRS says they're only interested in what they can get out of the day. The Europeans, their citizens are good, don't get me wrong. But àwọn baba ńlá wọn, they sat down on a round table. You know they didn't invite any Yoruba man, no Hausa man, no Ishekiri man, no Edo man, and they decided to create Africa for us. Thanksgiving, Okpeyemi Mokin, brother Agony. And I appreciate every one of you. And like I always say, I am just an ordinary person like you. Yes, I know my style. So what I'm doing is not new to me. We have been waiting for something like this before. So opportunity look at why Jeff Nigeria for since 2015 I've been cursing Nigeria. I'm not joking. It's just that my YouTube channel, my Facebook was pulled down. Facebook Timoshini 2007. What below lórí ìrìn àjò yìí. And the buyer them go come download the video, come save it. So all the videos I've done. So let's come back to the Tinubu'S 1-year economic indices. So I don't know anything about the shares indices, but I was told that it's gone up to 97,612. Share one shares. Remember then we were told that buy shares. Come and buy. I know some of you are still buying shares. I am not here to advise you to buy or not. But how many of our parents bought shares and the shares were gone? People like Saraki, they are criminals. Saraki family are criminals because what were allowed to destroy. Kí lórúkọ bank in Ramileti in Kwara State. From lórúkọ bank in town Saraki, criminals. And now they were white. He wants to be president as well of Nigeria. Nigeria would have been gone. I lost a president, but I will not. Savannah Bank. One name is Savannah Bank. Saraki family. Gbogbo yín pátá. And then it's certainly Solicitor Bank. Okay, Odimeji. So I'm getting. Ṣé Savannah náà ni Solicitor Bank? Ṣé kan náà ni méjèèjì? Àbọ̀tọ̀tọ̀. So I'm getting two names there. Savannah Bank and Solicitor General. Is it the same or different? But many Yoruba people, I won't say you are gullible, you are just not aware of a lot of things. If you're not aware, most of what we are saying today is part of the reason for why we have historians like Baba Akintoye. Imagine that we have just Tinubu. We will all not get to where we are today. One is the same, okay? So it's just different name. So Savannah Bank is also the same as Solicitor General. But ṣe rí àwa Yorùbá ó yẹ kí inú máa bí wa gan pé kí ló dé kí la ṣe tí ìran wa fi ń jìyà báyìí. But I understand. You just want to make money out of your own, survive with your family, and that's fine. No problem. One is they are the same. Okay, that's fine. I should go in. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ bá wa fi comment sí. So let's go further. We're just 2 hours. Tẹ́ bá fẹ́ pè sínú program, let me know, and then I'll call end the Koikimedia, and then we allow you to call in. I can open the phone line, but let me know in the comment section. Hey, ẹ̀gbọ́n mi dáadáa, Ifádàrè. I remember when we started the Yoruba Nation at the beginning. Let me tell you a little bit about this brother. There were 4 of them, I believe. They called me from America. Ṣé mo bá wọn ti create like a national fund for the Yoruba people. I'm not talking about before Yoruba Nation. I want it dá sílẹ̀ pé something that they can, and they were using it for, good cause. And I had meeting with them. Young, I mean, they're not young, probably in their 40s. And we had a meeting. Hey, Koiki, we are ready to let it go. We give it to Yoruba Nation. We hand it over. But it didn't work out. But they didn't give up. Interest in Thank you so much, my brother. Let's move swiftly on. Bloomington, Nigeria has been sold out. It is not a mistake. US is building the most expensive embassy in one of the most expensive land in Eco-Atlantic. There's always an hidden agenda. At the 1 hour again on Instagram, and you know what that happens. We come back, we go out, we come back in. So let me end it before the 14 seconds. You know, Nigeria is just, you know, not going to work. I understand the feelings that Koiki, you'll be surprised that we will develop. But let me tell you, our diaspora will develop. Intelligent. You are all intelligent. The same blood. The development will go fast among every single, and we will all do very well for ourselves, the future, and the next generation. So, exchange rate. Every time I say the dollar will be 2,000 naira, come and see comments. People, they cost me. In Jesus' name, it will not happen like that. And I'm thinking, why bring Jesus to that kind of conversation? Sometimes Jesus will just say, you're stupid. Stop dragging Jesus and Muhammad to all those things. What are you producing? You see this thing where they use clean my lips all the time. It's just to make it moisture. I know some of you are like, Koiki, kilo mafin kwete. It's Vaseline. Because this country, you know, especially during the winter, it could get burst. So I keep it moist. We are not producing anything. I told you the last time, pencil. I need gitole mafi pencil. We are not producing anything. So why call Jesus Christ to that kind of conversation? Allow Babani, Nigeria is built on lie. It can't work. It is good to end it now to save lives. Moki iya mishade loto. Why calling Jesus in a? I mean, even in 23 years, they say they have been doing democracy since 1999. Oyekatima produced enough to feed ourselves in Yoruba land, even in the southeast, in the north. But you are importing. All right, let's go to Nigeria again, OCED. Let's say how much we keep importing. OCE. Data. Let's go and look at our import. We always look at the export. Okay. We always talk about our export. The only thing that we export is the crude oil, ECBO. And I call it the increment of the devil. Because it doesn't favor every one of us. After the crude oil, and I'm looking at the data from 2022, 2 years ago now. Gbogbo owó tá pa wọlé tí wọ́n bá ṣòwò ó fẹ́ jèrè ni gbogbo owó tí Nàìjíríà pa wọlé kó lè bá yé dáadáa. All the money that we got from our export in 2022 was $70.7 billion US. It's not a lot for a country with 200 million. You know why? We are not exporting anything. Do you know that Latvia, a country of 2.8 million, their export in town or ta tó gbé wọlé padà ní owó is about 22 billion. Is it making sense? So add up. Ó yẹ kí gbogbo máa busy. Tá bá wá ṣe look, people work in this country. They have time to go to club. They have time to travel during their holiday time. They have time to do other things. Àwọn èèyàn ṣe fàájì nílùú iná tó bá lọ sí Central London ní weekend. Àwọn tó ń ṣe fàájì yẹn náà ti ṣiṣẹ́, wọ́n ti ṣe business. But ìwọ nísìn ní Nàìjíríà, ẹ̀yin náà fẹ́ ṣiṣẹ́, but kò sí opportunity. What is restricted because there's no production. The next thing tó tún fún wa lówó òun ni petroleum gas. That gave us $9 billion. I can tell you that gbogbo owó tá à ń gbọ́ yìí nísìn ìdajì ẹ̀ kò dé Nàìjíríà. Because how did the money tí Abacha tó jí báwo ló ṣe jí? Have you ever asked yourself that how did Abacha money became something that is stuck outside? It is a sales of the crude oil. The money just didn't come back to Nigeria. It got stuck abroad. That's why Abacha was able to steal $5 billion US. Now, let's look at our import. Import nìkan tó gbé wọlé can consume. The total import of Nigeria in 2022 is $67.6 billion US dollars. So how do you get the money to fund that when your export is 70 billion? So the difference between these and the export is 3 billion. Am I making sense? And do you know what was the most important thing that was import? You must, I'm sure you guess. Refined petroleum. Kò ní dá fún gbogbo wọn pátápátá. Mo kí ẹ Síkírù Àlàní. Benedict says, those figures are the official recorded figures, but not including the stolen crude oil. And that's a fact. Imagine that we sold, okay, we need to start to Twitter because apparently I'm not put on charger, but the power bank is charged, so we'll start it again. Nigerian scam. Wọ́n ti gbé wa ní mugun, and then àwọn èèyàn ní olówó ni bàbá yẹn, olówó ni ìyá yẹn, níbo ló ti rówó, báwo ló ṣe dolówó, owó epo rọ̀bì. Tèmi náà bá jẹ owó epo rọ̀bì, if I have oil well, I will be rich. I will be very, very rich, and I will be doing voluntary, I'll be charity all over the place. Do you know that the importation of goods to Nigeria in 2022, out of the 67 billion, we import refined petroleum to the tune of 20 billion. How did that favor you and me? Èmi ló wá ń bájà lórí show. Èmi kọ́ ni problem Nigeria. Ẹ ṣé gan grandma. My sister Benedict said pé wọ́n ti gbé wa ní gógó. Wàláì. Wọ́n ti jẹ wá run. Mo kí ẹ Kazeem Adesanya. Wọ́n ti jẹ wá ju bá ṣe lérò lọ. Star Barrett, thank you so much. Ọba Elédùmarè, Jesus Christi, whatever your faith is. Ugo says that Nigeria is a scam for the Fulani Caliphate given by them by the British and Frederick Lugard. Eshegun Mr. Larry Jinado. What gbé wa ní gógó? Jimmy Koya Mokenyi, well done for the great job you have done so far. We really appreciate your effort. Imagine, let me try and be calm. Imagine that we import. Why do we import the refined petroleum? Remember that we have 4 refineries. Even if those refineries were having problems, you would think that the government will at some point make another one. They now told Dangote, you come. If we don't give you money before, you don't want more money. Dangote, I want more money. We gave you everywhere to create cement with free discount. Sometimes we could just tell you, say, you go do road for us. So we no go tax you. They were operating Nigeria as their own. And it's actually their own. That is why you and me, they struggle. People don't get stuck for this country. They don't get money, renew their student visa. On scholarship. Because majority of you that are coming, you've done your first degree. You are just coming to do masters. Anybody to ba no fẹ́ wá degree. The master lórí yẹn púpọ̀. Oyè wọ́n náà. An average Yoruba man ti ṣe first degree nílé. Ó kàn fi wá ṣe masters ni. Masters yẹn tó bá jẹ́ pé Nigeria ń ṣiṣẹ́ dáadáa, ó yẹ ká fund ẹ̀ kó wá kàwé yẹn ni. Kó dẹ̀ padà sílé kó wá máa help wa. Because as a master, ẹni tó bá kàwé dáadáa, ẹ̀yin lẹ ní ọpọlọ lẹ máa bá wa ṣe báyìí. But nígbà míì, ẹni tó kàwé náà, a ní impute tó náà máa dá sínú society. Bí àṣà sister mi, wọ́n wá gbé wa ní gógó. Wọ́n kó crude oil jáde. Crude oil. Wọ́n gbé jáde. Àwa ra crude oil yẹn padà as a refined product. Mr. Agony Koiki, during that Berlin conference, it was called the Partition of Africa. What partitioning? Now, I am now asking you and myself, Dangote is now given that privilege with $1 to $1. You know, Nigeria stood for Dangote wherever he wanted to get the money from, and the one that he got from Nigeria, and he now built this gigantic refined. So what they are doing now, they are going to enslave us in another way. Oh yeah, where they're going to get the crude oil? At the moment, Dangote says buying the crude oil from outside Nigeria. I don't know. Even though some say that refined, the Dangote refinery is not yet fully in operation. I don't know. I don't work with him. So they will go to Niger Delta. Oh yeah, pump the crude oil, dump them into Dangote refinery. Oh yeah, let Dangote refine it. All right, all right. It seems that we're getting calls. So enter our lorry Koikimedia. Hello, sorry, Koiki, OLAYOMI KOIKI. The life is going on there. So that until I have another spare phone, we can then have the Koikimedia without interruption. Emma Binusiwa, Grandma Eleni Koiki. Abala Shemawa Debe. Tebat Losuri OLAYOMI KOIKI. OLAYOMI_Koiki. Instagram. Follow that as well. We are live on that one. Ama end delay in this. Emma Binusiwa. Because I guess maybe one or two people might want to call in. Just like my sister said there. We are now struggling. Okay, sometimes people are just calling me. I don't know whether this because only my mom are alive. So let's see. Chefe da sórí ètò ni sir.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni sir, mo send kíní kan sí WhatsApp yín sí.
Mo rí bẹ́ẹ̀.
Rules ẹ wo kẹsàn-án lórí ẹ̀. Kẹ wá wo item 7 and 8 tí wọ́n fẹ́ fi gáàgì àwọn èèyàn bí ẹni tó wà nínú àgò tó wà ti kọ́kọ́rọ́ mọ́.
Do not send any bad post or video against the government. Motiri. Ìyẹn gbọ́dọ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ nípa government. One more money. If you talk anything, Terry Tinubu government, another share mo pé Tinubu mọ̀ nípa communication. So ó fẹ́ ṣe gbogbo ó mọ̀ nípa communication. Ó ló ní TVC. Ó dà kó fi ṣe gbọ́n náà ló ní the nation. I don't know how true that is. So he knows about communication. Ó lè hàn pé ètò òun lè fi tighten o. Gbogbo tó ń ṣe iná bàbá mi ẹ̀gbọ́n mi. It's only for a limited time. Ó kò jẹ́ pé wọ́n fẹ́.
Ẹ máa ń bèrè question kan.
Yes.
Ó yẹ kí àtàwọn èèyàn ò tí ì fèsì. Pé okay, let's assume Tinubu used 8 years.
Yes.
What follows?
What next?
What next?
Okay, so Shamalo endorse àwọn not ni. Shamalo endorse not. Oh yeah, Tinubu bínú ju Buhari lọ. Àwọn èèyàn ẹ mọ̀ pé ìfẹ́ táwọn èèyàn kàn ní sí pé ọmọ Yorùbá Tinubu Jagaban ní tó ti ṣe pẹ̀lú Ọbásanjọ́ tó bàjá tó dúró dáadáa lé gbogbo kí gbogbo àti whatever it is. Ìyẹn sentiment tó ṣì wà láàárín àwa àtàwọn tó believe in Tinubu. Ṣé rí gbogbo ariwo tó ń pa nísìn tó máa fi tó another 3 years nísìn. Mo ń gbọ́ ìsà.
Tó bá kú ọ̀bẹ kí ló fẹ́ ṣẹlẹ̀?
Kọ́lọ́ ṣàjẹ́ ká ti mọ̀ bí tá à ń lọ. Because ṣẹtẹ̀ ráhùn the other side yẹn àwọn yẹn máa wá brutal jù mí lọ. Ṣé mi lọ ní mo brutal lórí ọ̀rọ̀ sísọ? Àwọn yẹn máa wá brutal because tí expectation wọn bá jáde which kò lè jáde because wọ́n ti lọ́kẹ̀. Tinubu ò dá ṣiṣẹ́ òun kọ́ ló ń pàṣẹ òun ní kọ́kọ́ ló ń pàṣẹ. Àṣẹ tó ń pa lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ yàtọ̀ sí ti presidency ẹ jẹ́ kí yẹn kó yé yìí. Lóòótọ́ ó ní structure ó náwó òun náà gbé ó ṣe gbogbo nǹkan ní ọlọ́dẹ gbà fún but òun ní kọ́kọ́ ló ń pàṣẹ mo ní Sultan of Sokoto ń pàṣẹ ẹ gbọ́ mi dáadáa ẹ jáde bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn ẹ ṣe gan ni brother mi ẹ ṣe gan ni mo kí gbogbo èèyàn wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí phone line yẹn ti wà open we are just 1 hour left so ní ṣe ju 3 hours yẹn náà lọ nọ́mbà tẹ́lẹ̀ fi pè sí tẹ́ máa fi bá wa dá sí +44 ìyẹn code UK 7404405917 so ntí brother wa yẹn send sí wa pé Mr. Koiki the new communication guideline the federal government the new communication rules for WhatsApp and WhatsApp calls one number 1 all calls will be recorded gbogbo àgbáyé ló ń ṣe yẹn náà anyway all call recording will be saved mọ̀bí tó fi save ẹ̀ sí WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all social media will be monitored. America náà monitor yẹn. Your device will be connected to the ministry system. Kí ló máa fi ṣe? Ṣé mọ̀ pé I don't know Nigerians ronú. Ṣé mọ̀ pé lórí burúkú communication minister kí lórúkọ ẹ̀? That Fulani guy. Orúkọ ẹ̀ dẹ̀ sápá mi lórí nísìn. Bọ̀bọ̀ slim guy yẹn. He was the communication minister nígbà Buhari. Ṣé mọ̀ pé nígbà tó kidnap àwọn ọmọ kan ní north, ó náà ọ̀rẹ́ òun máa fún wọn ní bí i 30 million or 40 million just to get them free. All our data tó takó fún ó ti tà fáwọn Fulani. So coming back to the importation, ká tó padà sí the economic indices of Tinubu, we've now confirmed that the major thing that is brought back to Nigeria is a refined petroleum, and that is costing the government or the federal government 20 billion. Now, wọ́n gbé mọ́tò náà wá about 1.2 billion and so many other stuff. But after that, another thing tó pọ̀ tó ń wá sí Nigeria only wheat. Tó fi ń ṣe bread, ṣe this, ṣe that, cake or whatever. So again, the amount of wheat tá import láti ìta màá sọ àwọn country yẹn fún yín ó worth value of 3 billion. Mo ẹ jẹ́ n béèrè ṣé ilẹ̀ wa ò lè grow wheat ni kó má yẹ pé bí ilẹ̀ tiwa dó àmọ̀ pa àwọn gbogbo àwọn Lithuania, Latvia gbogbo bẹ̀ yẹn ilẹ̀ wọn wọ́n ní I don't know how to explain it. Ilẹ̀ wọn dàbí àwọn náà ní ilẹ̀ tó dáa tó fi lè grow kìíní yẹn but ṣé àwa ò lè grow wheat? Koiki, you are correct. Tinubu is working for he's working for his friends, the Shagoris and all those criminals. Ṣé we cannot grow wheat? Isa Patami, thank you. Àwọn èèyàn wà lórí ètò ẹ máa bá wa fi kíní ẹ̀ sí kálẹ̀ tètè. Isa Patami, another criminal. Isa Patami ni Mr. Comrade Olakunle Ọláwùnmí fẹ́ sọ pé terrorist ni Isa Patami tí Buhari gbé wá sí government. And òun ni Buhari wá fi ṣe communication minister. And after he left, he's paying terrorists through his friend to get people released. Most of the countries where Nigeria imported the wheat in 2024, I will give you the percentage and how much we spend. But I'm asking, if America can be growing wheat, that means our weather is good enough to grow wheat. Because weather America náà kò ń ṣe pé Canada and grow wheat, Germany, kí ló wá dé táwa ò lè grow ẹ̀? And this is a product that is needed. Kò sí ilé kan abroad tí ẹ nílò wheat, tí ẹ nílò flour. So let's go through it. Once again, we are just about less than we've done 20 minutes past 2 hours. So the whole program ends in 3 hours. Thank you once again, to everyone joining us. And those of you that will watch it, later on again. Lithuania, we imported wheat to the value of $654 million at 21.6%. I know the Latvia because I use the Latvia a lot. Latvia, 498 million at 16.4%. America, 480 million at 15.8%. Poland, $301 million at 9.92%. Germany, 142 million. These are the price we paid. Who are those paying for it? It will also be nice to know àwọn company wo ló ń kó àwọn kìíní wọlé. Have you thought about that? Kò ń ṣe wọ́n ọmọ Yorùbá tó ń struggle lójú títì ṣé wọ́n tó tí ìrówó jẹun. Do you have 100 million naira in your account? Because you must have a lot of money to do this kind of business. So mo ń béèrè, who are those bringing this imported wheat? Because it's definitely not the government. I don't think the government is involved in bringing it in. It has to be private investors. Who are those? The Dangotes, the BUA, the Dantata, the Alakijas, the Okoyas. Have you thought about it? We know that with the refined petroleum, that one are real. If you try to look into it, they can kill you. That is a fact. So I wouldn't even want to go into that because I will be looking for wahala. Try and go and find out who are those bringing refined petroleum back to Nigeria. You will realize that some countries are involved. It's a real cartel. What about don't you drug in it? So it's better for me not to even get involved. Triple DRS confirmed that we can grow wheat. It's more or less of growing millet. Waris Jinadu also say wheat is tropical to Yoruba land, like millet. And maybe in the north, they can grow sorghum and nutmeg. Mr. Luafemi Adeyemi, thank you so much. Moki Grandma Lee Ajayi, and many of you that are watching me on the Twitter, but I can't read your comment, and those of you on Instagram. We are almost towards the end of the program. Hey, Bomidada. Àwọn wo ló import kini wọlé. So you think that somebody where they go bring wheat to Nigeria, and again all these are monopolies. I mean monopolized. Am I kitabon? Mo sọ pé Ṣèyí Tinubu mo ní problem pẹ̀lú ẹ̀, but ó ti monopolize Èkó pẹ̀lú advert tó ń ṣe. How can you be the only one doing advert? Oh, jẹ́ kẹ́lómi ṣe. Ó máa lówó lọ́wọ́ now. Tí bàbá ọba tẹ̀ ṣe president. Ìyàn kan tún sọ pé Koiki ó lọ sọ́nà tí mo fẹ́ kó lọ. Àwọn tó ń kó wíìtì wọlé, àwọn the army general, the ex-general, wọ́n ti jí owó. Ṣẹ̀rí during the military, nobody was able to question them. They were not, maybe not all of them, but majority of them made so much money during that period. No, Buba Marwa ń bọ̀ ní Lagos Island lásán, gbogbo àyàdànù ni. Because then there was bomb that was going on in Lagos State. So he was commissioning something in Lagos State at phase 2. I was still in Nigeria then. Who dare? Who? Talo people are bad that tomorrow. Military ya were gone. Military ya were wọ́n ní any sympathy. Mbo. Ya ká parí tó kù pẹ̀lú àwọn military. Military ya were gone. Military. That is the reason why wọ́n pa gbogbo tí ìran Yorùbá ní ó wà lára ntaka. Gbogbo tí bàbá wo lọ́wọ́ ṣe pátá, they destroy it. They could not manage it. That is the reason why you are scared of them. But in the UK, we are always happy to hug them because we see them as saviors. Tí nǹkan kan bá ṣẹlẹ̀ ní ibi báyìí nísìn tó jẹ́ pé serious gan bí nǹkan kan boss wọ́n máa kọ́ àwọn engineer wọn jáde ìgbà ló máa mọ̀ pé wọ́n ní àwọn oríṣiríṣi nǹkan tán wọ́n máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí í ṣe títì lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ bí nǹkan kan ṣẹlẹ̀ ìtọ́sí àti pé kọ́ lọ jagun. That is the purpose of a military. Is not meant to be going from Oshodi to Iyanapaja and be disturbing you on the road. That is not a country. Military is not meant to be terrorizing you. The Tinubu'S military, civilian government lawa, we have the right to challenge Tinubu. We can call him out at any time. Tinubu'S military. Ìjọba military kọ́ la wà. So stop thinking that our calling Tinubu is like we hate him. No, that is democracy. We have the right to call him out. Tó bá yẹ kó béèrè. Wọ́n ní tó òun jáde lọ bìkan ó mọ̀nà béèrè. If no, wàá sọnù. Sometimes Google ó ti gbé àwọn èèyàn lọ síbi tí they carry them go where they don't know. Wọ́n ní Dangote is #1 importer of wheat. I would not be surprised. Ìwọ wá ní kíni Dangote jẹ́ kí Nàìjíríà kó pín because tóun bá kó wheat wọlé right ìwọ tó ń ṣe bakery ó gbọ́dọ̀ lọ rà lọ́wọ́ Dangote ó máa lọ rà no tó bá kó dé ó máa rí báàgì as Dangote náà ní òun gbìn ni ọ̀nà ọmọdé òmògùn ń pè lẹ́fọ̀ no ṣé Dangote bá kó wheat wọlé tó kọ Dangote sí lára ṣé ìwọ máa béèrè pé bó ló ti rà. Ṣebí wọ́n need it for purpose ẹnìyẹn. This is the reason why. Wọ́n ní NPA National Port Authority partition and so part of Apapa port to Dangote just to import wheat. Wheat inú ilé àti jẹ bread kọjá. Àwọn kan máa jẹ brown bread. Àwọn kan máa jẹ kinní kan bread. Àwọn kan máa àwọn ọmọ mi láàárọ̀ nígbà tí mo fẹ́ jáde. Dad, we need croissant. Kò jẹ́ pé èèyàn lè ṣe inú ilé kí mo fi stress ara mi nígbà tí stone ta tó dẹ̀ fresh tó ṣe bake mo ti ra croissant wọlé láàárọ̀ yìí ó mọ tán pé bẹ́ẹ̀ chocolate google ẹ̀. Orin yẹn pé understand pé inú ìyà la wà. Nàìjíríà agony ni ó ti gbé wa padà lọ sí where we no wan go. Tinubu is a weak element. Èmi ò bàjá. You don't have to like me. Fact lè mi sọ. Oh, kí ni máa tẹ̀ jẹ́ nísìn náà? Wọ́n rẹ̀ ti jáde nísìn. Tẹ̀wọ́ tí mo lè jẹ. Kí ni èèyàn lè sáré dáhùn pé ìyàwó mi ọ̀rọ̀ àpọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ kan wà ní freezer. Ti freezer yẹn dẹ̀ máa pẹ́ kí ló ń pẹ́ fún ìbọn wa gbé sínú microwave ni má stress ara ẹ̀. Ẹ̀bà àbí kí n tẹ̀ ẹ̀bà. Ìjọ mo jẹ̀bà gbẹ̀yìn ìrọ̀ mo ní jẹ̀bà. Option wà. Tí wọn náà bá ti lọ option nínú ìjọba Tinubu yìí máa no problem. Gbogbo wa lájọ máa jẹ breakfast. So ẹ jẹ́ ká padà sínú statistics yẹn. Mo ní àti wá mọ̀ nísì pé Germany ara wheat lọ́wọ́ wọn at 142 million. Russia ara wheat lọ́wọ́ wọn. That means pé Canada ara wheat. Australia bó ṣe jìnnà tó burúkú yẹn ìlú ọ̀run ni. I love to visit one day. Ó jìnnà. New Zealand àti Australia ìlú tí mo pray pé kí n lọ at some point in my life. Ibẹ̀ yẹn fine jù. À ń ra wheat lọ́wọ́ wọn. Àwọn wo ló ń ṣòwò wheat yẹn wá sí Nàìjíríà? Ṣé wàá mọ̀ pé àwọn tó ń ṣòwò yẹn kàbá làwọn náà tó bá wà àárín wọn pé wọn náà fẹ́ lọ gbé wheat wá wàá da yẹ̀pẹ̀ sínú wheat tọ̀dọ̀ tiẹ̀ táwọn èèyàn bá jẹ́ báyìí wèrè pé lélẹ̀ kí lélẹ̀ kẹ̀ ti Dangote lè máa lọ máa rà. Ìtàn pè ní monopoly nìyẹn. Most of you don't know what is monopoly. Sky News àwọn Rupert Murdoch oh my God bàbá monopoly ni wọ́n but UK government ó kàn wọ́n lé gungun ó ṣẹ́ wíǹgì wọn pé kò dẹ́ ṣe pé wọ́n ṣe àwọn aráàlú ló dìde. Mo kíyàwó Adéọlá Òsínlóye mo kẹ́yìn màmá dáadáa. Àwọn ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n ni mò ń bá sọ̀rọ̀ mo ò bá ẹni tó ń ta bàbá àjẹ̀bú tó ní understanding ṣáà máa jẹ búrẹ́dì wheat yẹn ó yẹ ká máa ṣe nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Monopoly òun ló worst jù. Àwọn businesses kan wà tó yẹ kájọ máa ṣe tábàjọ torí ìbọ̀ ẹ̀mí èèyàn kan máa lọ èmi ò lè fẹ́ kẹ́mi kankan lọ́nà gbogbo wa ẹ jẹ́ a pín Nàìjíríà ká wá ṣe bísínẹ́sì tí ẹ pé àjọ máa lálàáfíà tí ìbá tẹ̀ fi wá sílé kí n wà ní UK kájọ àwọn kan ti pè mí pé Koiki àwọn fẹ́ ta ṣàkó mo ní ibo lẹ fẹ́ ta sí ibo lẹ fẹ́ ta sí èmi ò lè bá ẹ ṣe bísínẹ́sì Nàìjíríà for now ṣe olóògbé gbọdọ̀ wà ní hypertension bísínẹ́sì Nàìjíríà owó wà ń bẹ̀ lóòótọ́ but bó ṣe wà ń bẹ̀ yẹn náà amẹ́mí ẹ̀ lọ níjọ́ kan lọ bèèrè lọ́wọ́ àwọn tí ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ ṣẹlẹ̀ sí ní ọjà wo lọ́sẹ̀ destroy tán láìpẹ́ lọ́nà abúlé Ẹ̀gbá. So what am I trying to say? What we should be thinking about is the future. So ẹ jẹ́ ká parí indices Tinubu yìí màá padà sẹ́yìn torí pé a ti sọ̀rọ̀ tó pọ̀ so màá kà nísìnyí without no interruption. Petrol price wọ́n ní nígbà tí Tinubu máa dé ó bá ní 218 naira 11 kọ́bọ̀ mo mọ̀ bí ẹ ṣe ná kọ́bọ̀ but lẹ́ni ó ti di 701 naira 24 kọ́bọ̀ ìyẹn owó epo per litre. Food inflation is now 24.82 as at the time tí Tinubu dé nísìnyí ó ti di 40.54 ó ti lọ sókè by 37.52% increase. All shares index, I don't know what that is. One as at the time, Tinubu dé ó bá ní 55,738.35 points. As at today, ó ti di 97,612.51. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà into forex, I'm sure you understand that. Èmi ò sí into forex, I don't know. Exchange rate, dollar nígbà tí Tinubu máa dé ó bá ní 461 naira 0.76 dọ́là ti gbórí lọ sókè nísìn nǹkan sọ níbi báyìí ni mò ń kà ó wọn ló ti di 1,479.69 ó ti lọ sókè by 220.4%. Oil production nígbà tí Tinubu máa dé à ń ṣe 1.18 per barrel millions bọ̀lẹ́ni nísìn à ń ṣe 1.22 million per barrel increase by 8.47 ó wà increase kò dẹ̀ show ní life èmi àti wọ́. I don't know how that is happening because we are pump more crude oil but kò ní impact fún gbogbo wa. That again, GDP growth then is 2.51%. Now is 2.98%. Diesel, as at the time Tinubu Day, is 844.28 naira per litre. OTD 1,415 naira 6 kobo or bare 6 pence or pence now, plus 67.6% increase in diesel. Not everybody loves diesel, but some are still using it. Inflation rate. Nígbà tí Tinubu máa dé tó dé Jagaban 22.41 ló bá. Ó ti di 33.69. That is 31.15% increase. Inflation. Kí ló fa inflation? Cause in the comment section. Public debt gbèsè. Kò sẹ́ni tó like gbèsè. Gbèsè. Koiki tá bá wá pín báwo la ṣe máa ṣe gbèsè. A máa pín ní. Gbogbo yẹn ni tó ń pè ní round table discussion. Public debt nígbà tí Tinubu máa dé ó bá ní 87.38 trillion naira. Gbogbo òdu náà ló ń jẹ gbèsè. But lẹ́ni ní so ti di 97.34 trillion, increased by 11%. Interest rate nígbà tí Tinubu dé 18% ló bá ó ti di 26.25%. Ìyá mi Bólúwa ti fẹ́ Olúwafẹ́ràn mi Abíọ́lá ní this worst and worsted. Ṣé ẹ rántí gbà tá a wà ní secondary school àbí gbà tí wọ́n wà ní ṣé secondary school náà ni worstest àwọn òyìnbó ńláńláńlá Yorùbá ló yẹ ká fi kọ̀wé Yorùbá ló yẹ ká fi study nígbà tó bá jẹ́ pé a wà lórílẹ̀‐èdè tiwa gangan wọ́n ti gbé wa ní mógùn wọ́n ti gbé gbogbo wa ní gógó lóòótọ́ agbọ́yìnbó díẹ̀díẹ̀ bọ̀ ẹni tó gbọ́ má fi ṣèbínú. We are now 28 minutes to the end of this transmission. Comrade Plan B, Ogunmolani, Tinubu is another disaster. Shout out to as many of you. The line is still open. I should go like Parasol Instagram. So within the next 20 minutes, Tabare Ntofe Dasi. The number again is plus 4474 04405917. Essay so but our eyes has opened. Lóòótọ́ our eyes has opened. But actually láwọn tó jẹ́ pé they are deceiving us to make it look like gbogbo tó ń sọ yẹn kò make sense. And those are our politicians. And maybe before I go, ẹ jẹ́ ká lo Lagos State. A máa ń pè wọ́n jáde lẹ́ǹkọ̀ọ̀kan. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n porúkọ wọn jáde lẹ́nu. Àwọn tó ń yọ wá lẹ́nu tí wọ́n believe pé ó jẹ́ kí Yorùbá dá dúró òun làwọn tí máa dárúkọ yìí. Tí bá sọ pé honourable mò ń pọ́n yín lẹ́ni o ó yẹ kí n máa larúkọ mọ́ yín lórí ni gbàgbà o so màá kọ́ mọ́ fún the purpose pé bóyá tẹ bá program yìí pàdé gbọ́ máa kẹ́ ó pọ́n wa lé bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ọmọlúàbí ni wá ṣẹ́rí ọmọlúàbí la ṣe ń ṣe ṣẹ́rí gbogbo yín ẹ rò pé ẹni military ẹni dis mo ní kankan máa ṣẹlẹ̀ o but ẹ jẹ́ kájọ jókòó kájọ sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ jẹ́ kájọ jókòó kájọ sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ jókòó ká sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀yin náà máa ẹ̀bẹ̀ náà bímọ sọ́hùn ẹni kò rí bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá ti Lagos State tá a bá ní time tí bá ka ilé tán máa lọ sí the next state but ní ṣe ju 3 hours lọ orúkọ wọn ni kò máa sọ síta ìjọ mi àfojú wọn nígbà tá a bá ń ṣe software àbẹ́fẹ́ rójú wọn ni kò lè possible orí fóònù mi wà. Honourable Mudashiru Ajayi òun ni speaker Lagos State ó wà lára àwọn tó ń dá ìran Yorùbá dúró ó ní Nàìjíríà lòun fẹ́. Honourable Mojísọ́lá Lasbat òun ni deputy speaker. Honourable Naim Babatunde òun ni majority leader. Honourable Ademola Richard òun ni deputy majority leader. Honourable Fatai A. Mojid òun ni chief whip. Honourable Engineer Setonji David deputy chief whip. Honourable Abdulkarim Jubril member kò bá tẹ̀ wá dá ká máa sọ agbègbè wọn káwọn èèyàn lè mọ agbègbè wọn ẹ jẹ́ máa sọ agbègbè wọn òbí ṣe ń ka orúkọ yẹn lòmí ò mọ agbègbè ẹ̀ farabalẹ̀ bí àwọn àbá tí ẹ pàdé níbẹ̀ kò lè mọ̀ pé àwọn tó ń ṣe ẹ Koiki gbà la fi gba Yorùbá nation lọ bá àwọn ilé ìpèrè pé gbà la fi gba Yorùbá nation màmá kà wọ́n pẹ̀lú constituency wọn. Honourable Mudashiru Ajayi Obasa Agege constituency. Honourable Mojisola Lasbat Maranda constituency Apapa 1. Honourable Honourable Naim Babatunde Adams Etiosa 1. Honourable Ademola Richard Kasumu kílódé tó fi constituency wọ̀ sí Ìkẹjà 2 constituency Ìkẹjà 2. Honourable Fatai A. Mojid àpè síkú àpè sárùn à ń béèrè pé kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ tẹ́ ẹ̀ dá sọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá nation. Ìbẹ̀jú Lẹ́kì 1. Honourable Engineer Shetanji David Badagry 2. Honourable Abdulkarim Jubril Ayodeji Agege 2. Honourable Saad Lukman Olumo Ajeromi Ifelodun constituency 1. Honourable Oluwa Sabiu Akanbi Ajeromi Ifelodun 2. Honourable Jimoh Orelope Lukman Olatunji Alimosho 1. Ẹ má bínú èèyàn wa a máa gbé kọ́ọ̀lù yìí a máa play kankan fún yín kẹ́ máa fi yẹn jẹ́ ṣògóró lọ́mọ máa dìde fún few minutes. Ẹ jẹ́ ká kọ́ọ̀lù yìí wá urgent a ní láti gbé má bínú bọ̀ máa fún yín ní kankan tẹ́ máa gbádùn lọ tí máa fi padà sórí ìjókòó tí bàbá Kítóyè ẹ máa gbádùn lọ tí máa fi padà sórí ìjókòó.
So, but there seems to be some confusion in Yoruba land. I see that maybe perhaps the generality of the people do not feel as passionate about self-determination. And secondly, there is all kinds of positions. Afenifere is talking about restructuring. You are talking about self-determination.
You don't know this. You don't know the nature of the Yoruba society. You don't. Most of the young people, and they are the majority in Yoruba land, want the self-determination of their Yoruba nation. That's the truth of the matter. That's what is keeping the movement going. And they are also doing so in the diaspora. Yoruba young men and women all over the world want their own country, separate from Nigeria. You cannot deny that. No matter how much you want to pander to the government, you cannot deny that. But that's the truth.
But anyway.
The important thing, however, and I'm surprised that you are not talking about that, is that the Yoruba people who are fighting for self-determination are telling the world and telling themselves that they will do it only peacefully. We are Yoruba. We know our status in the world. We know our status in the black world. We do not want to destroy the peace of Nigeria, and we do not want to bring difficulty into the lives of any other group in Nigeria. But we want to get out of Nigeria. That's it.
Well, Prof, you were a strong member.
And you're not talking about that. You are asking me questions. You are asking me questions as if what Onitiri did has the support of the majority of Yoruba people who want self-determination. It is not true.
Well, Prof.
He has a small minority of a section that is ready to do illegality. A year ago, they went and attacked a radio station in Ibadan, and so on. Now this year, they are attacking the entire government of Ibadan, and so on. No, but we have never sent anybody to go and do that, and we do not support it or encourage it. But we think it is criminal.
Prof.
And so if they get punished for their criminality, we have no objection to that.
Okay. Prof, you are a strong member. You
cannot, because of them, generalize opposition to self-determination. You cannot.
Well, Prof, you are a strong member of the Unity Party of Nigeria.
Okay.
Also a very strong member of Afenifere.
Okay.
Afenifere is talking about restructuring. You are now talking about self-determination. What is the difference, in these two ideological positions?
Our fathers in Afenifere are doing the right thing, talking about restructuring, so that we can go back and live our own life the way we used to live it prosperously. They're doing the right thing. There is nothing wrong with that. But we, another group of people, larger in number than they, are now saying, no, self-determination is the answer, not restructuring. Why? Because when you restructure, you are still in Nigeria. The people who are coming and disrupting your life and destroying your farms and killing your women and raping your mothers and daughters and so on are still Nigerians.
They are still Nigerians.
Have the right to come to.
Ẹ jẹ́ ká parí àwọn honourable yẹn. Ẹ jẹ́ ká parí wọn. Ẹ jẹ́ ká parí wọn. We are almost there.
Nigeria. The only final solution to that is to separate, so that you have a separate Yoruba country where we can make our own laws and so on, to which we admit only people we want to admit. So nobody can claim that they have a right to come to our land. They don't have such a. But as long as we are in Nigeria, no matter what restructuring is done, they still have the right to come to our land and do the things that we are doing. Nobody is talking about the fact that most Yoruba farmers have been driven from their farms. I am not hearing that. I'm hearing only about government. I'm not hearing about people. You are not talking about the fact that most Yoruba farmers have been driven from their farms, and that the Yoruba nation is in danger of famine upon famine upon famine for years and years to come. You are not talking of the fact that the Fulani declared war on Nigeria on the 24th of January and 26th of January and said that Tinubu is not our president. We are going to Aso Rock. We will take over the seat of government there, and we will use this place to organize the conquest of the rest of Nigeria. You're not talking about that. You are not talking of people who said, no Fulani man must be arrested for the bomb in Ibadan. If you do, you will have bombs in every town in Yoruba, in Nigeria. Nobody is talking about that. Nobody is talking about the sheer insult of living in a country where some people are treating the government like that. We are talking about Onitiri and so on. Why do our
bàbá ò fi gbà sí fún ibẹ̀ yẹn bàbá ò pé yẹn fi sílẹ̀ ọmọ wa náà ni wọ́n jẹ́ rèmi ni màá ti gbà sí fún. All right, let's finish with this honourable Imbolabade, honourable Odanpele Ladenison, few more of them, and then we are just about 30 minutes. Honourable Kehinde O. Joseph, that is Alimosho 2. Then the next one will be she's a woman. Honourable Osafe Foluke Stella, Amuwodofin 1. Gbogbo àwọn tí mò ń dárúkọ yìí, gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ bá mọ̀ wọ́n, ẹ súnmọ́ wọn ẹ béèrè pé kí ló dé tí wọ́n fẹ́ Yorùbá nation àbí kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀. Honourable Ọláwálé Agẹ Sulaiman Rafiu, Amuwodofin 2. These are your House of Representatives in Lagos State. Obìnrin ni the next person tó ń bọ̀. Honourable Sangodara Rotimi, Surulere 2. So gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá tẹ́ bá ní Yorùbá nation àwọn ilé náà ni Yorùbá people tí wọ́n represent wa ní Lagos State. Honourable Lawal Ayina Musbau Apapa 2 gbogbo wọn pátá Abdullahi Muki ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò gbogbo wọn pátá ni wọ́n ní right láti sọ̀dí tí wọ́n ṣe support Yorùbá nation. Honourable Bonu Solomon Sanu Badagry 1. Then just few more to go. Honourable Mustaniu A. Tobun Ekpe 1. So Honourable Sylvester O. Ogunkelu Ekpe 2. So Ekpe 1 and Ekpe 2. Honourable Gbọ́láhàn Yisuhawu Isiawu Etiosa 2. No, not this person. Honourable Ajayi Ọládélé Olúwadámiláre Ìbẹ̀jùlẹ́kì 2. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń bẹ ní Ìbẹ̀jùlẹ́kì, I'm sure pé gbogbo ẹni tí mo dárúkọ ilẹ̀ máa mọ̀. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ bá wà lẹ́kọ̀ọ́, I'm sure you will know, are familiar with all these names. Mo kí ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń ṣe ń gbọ́ wa lórí ètò náà. We are just about 15 minutes to the end of the program. Honourable Tèmítọ́pẹ́ Adéwálé Ìfàkọ̀ìjàyè 1. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń ṣe ń darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ bá ń darapọ̀ ẹ ti miss ẹ máa láti padà sẹ́yìn láti lọ wo the beginning of the program kẹ́lẹ̀ níbi tí a dé. Orúkọ àwọn táwọn darúkọ àwọn ni House of Representatives, Lagos State House of Assembly, and I'm asking them why are they not in support of Yoruba nation. Honourable Olótù Òjó Emmanuel Ìfàkọ̀jàyè 2. So wọ́n pín ìbẹ̀yẹn sọ́nà méjì nìyẹn. Honourable Lawal Adéṣèyí Ìkẹjà 1 àti rí Ìkẹjà 2 lẹ́ǹkan. So Honourable Ògúnlẹ́yẹ Gbọ́láhàn Adétókunbọ̀ Ìkòròdú 1. Ọ̀nà àwọn ti sáìdì ibi Mohbad kan nìyẹn. Then Honourable Àró Moshood Abiodun Ìkòròdú 2 ó di méjì. So ẹ̀yin ará Ìkòròdú, I'm sure you are familiar. So ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń gbé ní Ìkòròdú tẹ́ bá mọ̀ wọ́n sọ fún wọn pé kí ló dé tó support Yorùbá nation. Honourable Ganiu Babatunde ọ̀kan láwọn Sáàmì Kòsọ̀fẹ́ 1. So there are just about few left. Ó sì kọ obìnrin kan láàrin wọn. Honourable Fẹ́mi Saheed Kòsọ̀fẹ́ 2. So ibẹ̀ yẹn náà wọ́n pín sọ́nà méjì. Honourable obìnrin ilé Princess Ọmọlára Oyèkán Olúmẹ̀gbọ́n Lagos Island 1. ẹ̀yọ́ ọmọ Lagos Island, I'm sure pé ẹ máa wà familiar pẹ̀lú orúkọ yẹn. Honourable Ọlárẹ̀wájú Sulaimon Afini Lagos Island 2. Gbogbo ẹ̀yọ́ ọmọ Lagos Island tẹ́ bá ti rí àwọn orúkọ tí mo dárúkọ yìí ẹ bèrè pé kí ló dé tí àwọn ò fẹ́ Yorùbá nation. Honourable Ibrahim Ajani Owólabí Lagos Mainland 1. So gbogbo ibi tó bá kàn ẹ́ ní constituency ẹ̀ ok ẹ ti darapọ̀ mọ́ wa ṣé internet ẹ ti stable ni àti fẹ́ ṣetán kù díẹ̀ mo ti rí logo yìí. Honourable Shabi Rasheed Adébọ́lá Adékọ́lá Lagos Mainland 2. Àwọn mẹ́rin ló kù lẹ́yìn eléyìí. Honourable Nureni Ayinde Akinsanya Mushin 1. Mushin Olóòṣà Woro oníjẹkújẹ ìrọ̀ ó sì kó àwọn bíi 8. Honourable Kazeem Ọláyínká Muideen Mushin 2. Mushin Olóòṣà. So these are all Yorubas that should be involved in this movement. But Honourable Ege Olúṣẹ́gun Adébísí Ọjọ́ 1. Ọjọ́ yẹn kọ́ níbi tó máa ń sọ pé military barracks wà. Ọ̀dà ń pọ̀ ọjọ́ tún náà máa fẹ́ wà bìkan mọ̀ pé bẹ́ẹ̀ náà tóbi díẹ̀. So about 5 more after this. Honourable Suraju Ọlátúnjí Tìjání Ọjọ́ 2. Wọ́n ní they are all Tinubu boys. Okay, so wọ́n ní dá sọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá nation lẹ́ ń sọ yẹn. Honourable Ògúndípẹ̀ Stephen Olúkáyọ̀dé Oṣòdì Ìsọlọ̀ 1. ṣé Tinubu ló fi wà wọ́n lè síbẹ̀ àbí lẹ́ ń sọ yẹn. Ṣé bá ṣe fi máa rọ́ ni politics náà nìyẹn, politics jẹgúrújẹrá politics yìí. Honourable Àjọmálé àbí Ọjọ́málé dẹ̀ ni Ọládípọ̀ Ọláyínká Oṣòdì Ìsọlọ̀ 2. So we have just 2 no yeah, 2 lẹ́yìn eléyìí. Honourable Ọ̀rẹ́kọ̀yà Abiodun Abimbola Shomolu 1. Then Desmond is the last person. Gbogbo ilẹ̀ ṣàmọ̀ Desmond tó máa ń ṣe fíìmù tẹ́lẹ̀. Honourable Apata Samuel Olu Shomolu 2. And the last one is Desmond Honourable Desmond O. Elliott Surulere 1. These and many more are the ones in charge of your state, Lagos State House of Assembly. So whenever you are saying Yoruba Nation, why have we not have it? These are your representatives that we should. Now, ẹ jẹ́ ká wo àwọn wo ni senator from Lagos State. Mo mọ̀ pé Yayi ti sá lọ sógun state. So we have ṣebí Rẹ̀mí Tinubu, ṣé Rẹ̀mí Tinubu sì ń ṣe senator, ìbí ìyàwó president ni. Ilé aṣíṣe ń rí Rẹ̀mí Tinubu. I don't understand. Ṣé ìyàwó president is still representing as a senator? Ìbí ó ti di ìyàwó president. Ṣé kò gbé position yẹn lẹ́ni? Ẹ là mí lóye ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà ní Nàìjíríà. Because I'm lost now. Because I'm getting 2 names here. Lagos Central Olúrẹ̀mí Tinubu APC. Lagos East Tokunbo Abiru APC. Lagos West Solomon Ọlámilékan. Eléyìí ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ the right one o. Kò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ the right one because Yayi ti sá lọ sí kinní náà. Ó ti sá lọ sógun state. Let's look. Kò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ current one. Okay, current one lélẹ̀. Adetokunbo Mukaila Abiru, Senator, National Assembly, Lagos East, male, 60 years old, 1960 lọ́bẹ̀lẹ̀. Yeah, mo ti rí pé kò ń ṣe the right one ni mo kà lẹ́ǹkan. So mo ti rí àwọn the right one. Ta ló ń béèrè pé what country are you from? Kíní kan pẹ̀lú yẹn. Olùrántí Idiat Adébúlé. So ìyá ẹ̀ kúrò as a deputy governor. Àbójú mi lórí bẹ́ẹ̀ mú bọ̀. Ṣèbí lè ló ṣe deputy governor nípa Ambode. Idiat Olùrántí. I'm sure she was a deputy governor. Yeah. Ṣé rí pé they are all the same ní gbogbo wọn. She was born in 1970, 53 years old. Because mo mọ̀ pé orúkọ yẹn sound familiar. She was the deputy governor nígbà Ambode. Òun ló ṣe deputy Ambode. Àmọ́ dárúkọ púpọ̀ ní unison because ọmọ Yorùbá ò mọ̀ pé àwọn ilé gangan ni wọ́n wà behind kí Yorùbá má tí lọ. Orí bẹ́ẹ̀ pé orúkọ ẹ̀ náà ni. So ó ti lọ ṣe senator. Then Sikiru Adébáyọ̀ Òṣìnáwọ̀, Senator, National Assembly, Lagos East, male. I don't know. I hope I'm right pẹ̀lú orúkọ tí mo ń dá anyway. Ẹ jẹ́ ká wo news because news máa sọ fún mi. Ẹ jẹ́ lọ sí news. I want to be sure. Meet members of the 10th National Assembly from Lagos State àti Koikimedia and the Lagos State 3 Senator. Okay, then ka paper yìí. Because I want to be sure the name I'm giving are right. Àti mọ̀ pé Sanwó-Olú point to kill òun ni governor yín. Lagos, Southwest Nigeria is on the Atlantic coast with the most population in Nigeria. It is a bond to from 1914 to 1954. The area, including the state, was administered by the British as part of the colony of Nigeria. You know, nonsense. All right, whatever their names are, I hope I'm right, because I'm not too sure of who are the senators. But I'll find out. I'll come back see. But I'm pé Senator Abiru yẹn definitely because mo rí pé Sanwó-Olú kì fún birthday nígbà tó pé 60. So Abiru is definitely the Lagos East Senator. Adetokunbo Abiru. Ó ṣe birthday láìpẹ́ ni. Banking, insurance and other financial institutions. The Senate Committee on Banking, Insurance and other financial banking tó ní favour lẹ Yorùbá. So gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá mo kí Mr. Oluwafolabi Adewale, my brother. President Tinubu cannot do anything in Nigeria. Remember when he ruled Lagos State as governor, that man packed all the Lagos State property. Kódà oríṣiríṣi lọ ní oko mọ́ra. Thank you so much if you just join us and the rest of you that will be watching this program as a repeated program. But for now, mo kí wa pé thanks for being there. Mo kí Mr. Kende Adeyemo mo kí Bishop Adesina and Ifagbemileke. Mo ń ká àwọn comment wá sórí backup channel wa tí mo tẹ̀rí látẹ̀ǹkan. Pastor mo kí yín. That's quite a lot. Rahim Abbas, thank you so much. Olele Karim Dio. Olúwa Ọláwọ̀nyí Ibrahim. Mo kí bàbá wa soon. Wọ́n tẹ̀ fún wa ní super chat mo tẹ̀rí látẹ̀ǹkan ṣe gan ni. APC ẹgbẹ́kẹ́gbẹ́. I think that's our boss day. Oluwafemi Peter Sadiku, thank you so much. Adetola, the bag of rice is 70, beans is 75. Before December, it will be 120. Beans will be 150. Federal government is offering 54,000 minimum wage. Could it work? Mr. Kedeni Adeyemoni, you are the John the Baptist of the Yorubas. Eshegoni Yawa Bosede. Moki Bubo Omo Yoruba Patapata. Thank you, Mr. Shegun, Mr. Said Jimo. So, ibi tá máa fi àdàgbà ṣé Yorùbá yẹn lọ díẹ̀ àdàgbà ètò ti ìrọ̀lẹ́ ìsí nìyẹn. Mo kí wa pé kí Elédùmarè kó má fi wá sílẹ̀, kí ilẹ̀ Yorùbá kó má gbà mọ́ wa lọ́wọ́. Mo kí bàbá Shitu Ọmọ́wùmí. Mo kí gbogbo yín Mùsùlùmí o. Mo ní assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Odus Ọláwálé mo kí ẹ. Lanre Jinadu ni our emeritus professor. Mo kí Ugoze Oni Koiki, even police. Why did Nigeria ask police force, whereby police is supposed to be service, not force? Nigeria is just a scam. Everybody knows that, but everybody lives in denial. That is how far I can take you this afternoon. We will be back again tomorrow as we continue the topic. Muki, Uchi, Omolola, and Samuel. Those are the three I can see on the Twitter space. Anytime I already mix it up, Mukinle can see. And as I say, we will continue again with more analysis surrounding we Yoruba have suffered abominable in independent Nigeria and we have decided to exit Nigeria. That is how far I can take you this afternoon on the program. This man said this before we go.
I have nothing new to say.
People are hungry.
Let them die. It's their fault. Yeah, I'm supporting Tinubu 100%.
I'm supporting Tinubu
100% to deal with Nigerians. People like
to deal with Nigerians. All our protests, rallies were all peaceful, no violence. Nobody can come out and say, at the point of our rallies and protests, people were killed. Thank you so much, Tokyo. Thank you so much, Simple Rahim, and to my family as well. Thank you all. This was one out of many protests, and after this, we play the anthem. You don't sing the word. You don't sing the word. Igbowo. 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 Lórúkọ Jésù Kristi ti Ànábì Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam láwọn tó láyé tó lọ́run ìran Yorùbá a máa tún nínú ìdè tí àwọn òyìnbó aláwọ̀ funfun tó kó wa sínú ẹ̀ láti over 110 years called the fraudulent amalgamation. And on that note, enjoy the weather in UK. Ọ̀nà díẹ̀díẹ̀ tí ń yọ ọ̀bọ̀ atẹ́gùn fẹ́ nísàlẹ̀, but what can we do? Mo kí gbogbo àwọn ọmọ wa tó wà lọ́lídé ní wíìkì. Happy Children's Day for all the children around the world, especially those going through a very rough time in Palestine and many other places like Yoruba land and the southeast and the north. Nigeria must break so that we can save lives. Bye for now.
Masih
Ogo Adulawo. Thank you so much. Kunle Bakers, thank you. As we were heading out of the program, he came in, and as usual, he normally comes with a super chat. Thank you so much. Egbomidada, Ijaya, I cite you. A couple of your voice notes I've listened to. We'll try and see if we can bring it into the program the next time. And on that note, bye for now. Mokenta Walori Mixlr and the rest of you on the Twitter space. Bye for now.